Pia. And so getting ahead here for KT is amazing. But even from behind, you can just kind of clear waves and scale up. And it's really hard to siege as HLE. So, I mean, we'll have to mention that this is a Karma Sivir lane. So this lane is going to naturally be pushing in, and Delight's always just going to have to fish for those all-in exchanges. As we've already seen, he was able to win the Summoner trade from the last one. Zeka's not having a
No, and I think this is going to continue. I also think that Zeka knew that this is how it was going to work. So I don't know whether HLE are going
Einen wunderschönen guten Morgen. Hallo, hallo, hallo.
I have a theory, though.
Wie geht, wie steht's? Was haben wir für einen Draft?
Perfect 4-0, by the way, on this pick.
Ne, ziemlich overpowered von KT, wa? Oder nicht? Ein ziemlich overpowered von KT spielt voll in deren Stärken rein.
But no, this is very good for Kanavi just ganking all the time. There's going to be pushing lanes all over the place for him to feast on. And this bottom lane is certainly going to be a great one.
Schauen wir mal.
Before, aiming is not exactly going to be too happy about
Ist auf dem Ward.
A cataclysm. Down he comes.
Yeah, and Cuz is just going to come straight over here. And here comes the 3v3. Ward gets dropped, and I think
ist winning für KT, oder nicht? Ja.
Just wide. As aiming not quite getting in there. There is the snare onto Kanavi, who had to go back in. And that
ist winning für KT.
Effort. Like you were saying, Wolf, I don't know what they expected, as now Effort is looking.
Yep, der ist auch noch tot. Draft ist komplett OP. GG.
I understand the thought process is Kanavi. You're like, well, I'm going to bail this lane out. You mentioned it right a moment before. Like, he's got a lot of lanes he can gank, but this is the most important one. Cuz is ready, and Pantheon's damage is just higher at this point. This hook also doesn't land, and then there's a root onto Kanavi. He decides to go back in because, of course, he does. He's Kanavi. And MF's damage that early on in the game is great, but, like, you just lost so much before the fight even really broke out, before Guma could really do anything. As ends up being 2 here for KT, almost a third onto Guma, who will have to have his back delayed here.
Yeah, so Guma now just going to have to go back. His barrier was actually used in that last exchange as well, so aiming's barrier back up off cooldown. Guma's just going back down. So, not exactly the greatest of starts here for HLE as KT move.
Morgen hat er, ja, 2-0 Shopify, 2-0 Sinai gestern.
Kind of bizarre
brute
force attempt. And you're running this Nautilus comp, so you really do want to get those fights where you can, but the hook doesn't land, right? And then they're just kind of up a creek without the paddle. And the question is, did Kanavi need to go back in there, or maybe could he have escaped?
Oh, wie geht's? Mir geht's gut. Mir geht es gut. Bin schon gut geschlafen eigentlich. Hat er mir ins.
Instead, it's 2 kills in the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think he realized that either they were going to run away and lose more, and someone was probably going to die, or they try and make the most of it. I think that was probably what he assumed. But you never really know what they're thinking in the moment. It was a great snare from Effort, though, who's now looking to use it again.
Wow, die gehen da aggressiv rein.
Das ist comes across as well, but
so wenig, also alles klar, Effort.
And aiming still has barrier because he just got it back, right? So Guma does not have his barrier from the previous exchange.
Also KT sollte einfach Drakey stacken, oder nicht? Ganz easy Drake-Stacke, Engel.
Here. This time effort is very low, but he's still sitting on that heal. So I think there's still some play here for KT as they push this wave in.
Yeah, full information over to both teams right now, but even knowing, I imagine HLE aren't exactly too psyched about it. Plate does go over to aiming here. As Effort just biding his time, looking for a Mantra Q angle.
Let's not forget, okay, hold on, we still have a bit of a fight.
Yeah, a little bit of a snare opportunity, but doesn't quite land. And they are just taking a lot of poke.
Yeah, I mean, right now,
dealing with the wave.
They're keeping Kanavi here, because he has to be here. And the mid lane is not going Zeka's way, right? The top lane is not going Zeus' way. The Zahid is...
Was gar nicht wenig sein soll für den mit dem besseren Draft.
Even though they're not going to commit to the dive, you know, it generated a decent CS lead here for aiming, and Kanavi's just kind of stuck here. And finally, they're going to get the dragon, as we're going to see perfectly for an all-in timing, potentially.
Yeah, just throws down the ulti. Zeus does still have his, so honestly, the Scion going to be feeling pretty happy in this moment.
Yeah.
Has the Bramble Vest already, Perfect still building slowly towards the Trinity Force, as KT will very comfortably move over and take this dragon. And this is the ridiculous thing, because you were talking about it, right? Like, holding Kanavi here. Yes, Cuz is there.
So, Reus 5%.
If the other lanes are just winning, right?
Exactly.
And the other thing
Energy tier list, more tier list, winner tier list.
Really far is
Energy tier list. Oh.
Kanavi is just in full vision at all times, as Cuz will be able to take down this Drake. Kanavi was in the vicinity, but it looks like KT are just going to bail after grabbing the objective.
The observers showcased the second that Cuz went to Dragon and Kanavi was off vision.
Rodrigo Salazar, Bruder. Ich habe keinen Schimmer, wer das sein soll. Ich vermute mal, es hat irgendwas mit Schalke zu tun, wenn du fragst, aber ich habe keine Ahnung. No cap. Hallo Slim.
And this is, you know, Kanavi's worst nightmare, man. This is ungankable lanes.
Yeah, no, you can't have that.
Lost the 3v3.
Ehemalige Schalke-Goat.
Kanavi lives. He doesn't know this game.
Dann finde ich das schrecklich, oder?
Well, I mean, we have to cast our minds back, but there was a time where we could remember Kanavi being reminded of those sorts of moments.
Alle Banger.
Very early on this year, you know, a lot of us were very low.
Ranga, oder was? Ach, ist das ESC, ne? Hier, Bulgarien. Ja, ja. Hab's auf TikTok gesehen für 5 Sekunden, hab's geskippt. Ja. Ich hab gesehen, wir haben 12 Punkte bekommen. Ey, das ist ja nicht schlecht. Das Game ist free für Katie. Das Game ist free.
Is still in amongst it, on the hunt, gonna get thrown down here towards his bottom lane as aiming finds a little bit of boomerang damage. And Gumayushi able to turn around and get a little bit, but oh, there's another barrier on cooldown. And yeah,
okay, ich habe eine Frage, ganz kurz, ohne jetzt, also, ne, lass das politische Thema nicht aufmachen. Israel, wieso haben die so viele Punkte, obwohl das so geopolitisch tense ist? War der Song sehr gut? Nein, also rein Politik. Okay, also reine Politik. Okay. Also reine Politik, okay. Okay, gotcha. Und ja, Aiming ist gerade mit Double Sums gestorben, ja.
And then he just gets sniped by Cuz. Nothing Kanavi can do to impact this play. Beautifully set up. Gets the flash out of Kanavi as well. And Cuz, you know, unlike the last few weeks, doesn't flash to follow.
Massiv Telefonpunkte, gotcha. Okay.
Because right here, Guma needs to kill a few of these minions to get 6. Aiming knows that, right? So he's like, all right, how many minions is it going to take? And I think at this moment, he's like, oh, I'm further behind. Maybe I can flash on him and use my barrier to kill him.
He was 6 for a while. Like,
I don't know. That just doesn't make sense to me. It had so many different ways out of that.
Just press
das ist Mechaniker-Level hier.
Perfect is now trying to do some damage to Zeus.
Dazu sterben Mechaniker-Level.
But isn't able to do much more than that. He's just living his best life. Obviously, the Zahen not going to be doing the most in the earlier stages, but we know how much of a menace he can be in later game team fights, especially in the hands of Perfect.
Yeah, this bottom lane exchange where Aiming kind of messed it up really is a huge win for Guma, right? Guma was able to punish him there. I don't know if it should have happened, but anyways, Guma pressed the button, he got the kill, and that means there's at least one piece of good news here for HLE.
Ja, reicht das? Weiß ich nicht, ne? Also ich glaube, jungle-technisch alleine kracht's halt nächste Panther-Ulti ist gleich wieder ab. Wenn die Botlane droppt, haben wir ein Problem für HLE, weil der Light hat nämlich kein Flash. Der Light hat keinen Flash, der Brody.
Yeah, I feel like Guma and Aiming have very different.
Ja, nee, ich wollte nur bei ESC kurz fragen. Also gut. Passt. Klärt nicht den Ding da, ne? Sky, danke für den 8. Dankeschön. Gummo.
I do think Siva can be extraordinarily
strong,
but there is still the Jarvan problem that KT do need to solve later on in this one. The issue that HLE has is that there are a lot of threats on KT.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's a 4-threat comp. It's pretty scary.
It's really scary, especially with how accelerated Cuz is right now in this game. So every lane is gankable. He has a global ultimate. He has flash advantage for a few more seconds.
Findet KT einen Weg, das Game zu werfen.
Things to consider is Perfect.
Well, es ist decent Damage gegen Sion in diesem Game. Es ist theoretisch decent Damage.
He's also a major threat in upcoming team fights in a massive front line. The fact that BDD is this accelerated as well feels really good for KT. The early to mid game woes we thought they might face here.
Ja, Leute, ich glaube, die sind relativ favored. Die sind schon relativ favored, würde ich sagen.
Yeah, and right now they're looking for a bit of an angle towards Gumayushi.
Ist, glaube ich, auch ein Game, in dem du als Nautilus einfach deine Tode farmst. Aiming hat noch Double Thumbs Up. Ja, und krass ist komplett OP hier. Ja.
Able to get that kill. Effort now just going to sacrifice himself as a petrifying gaze. Hits nothing, but Guma is still going to go down. Still HLE fighting back as Zeus is teleported in. And BDD, he just needs to try and stand and fight.
I guess, wenn Sion, okay. Der ist gerade von oben hoch runtergelaufen, der hat niemand gebeat. Okay. Der ist nicht gebeat. Der ist nicht gebeat.
The Drake here in tow. Well, I mean, Cuz is in live, kind of lurking around, so we'll wait and see. But look at how much damage this initial Q setup here for Cuz does before the fight even starts. And that, for me, was kind of like, all right, this fight is probably done.
Ja, ich habe den Sion überhaupt nicht. Schau mal, der kommt vom Beginn am Blue Buff, ist der so runtergelaufen. Oh, er hat ihn geklaut. Oh, und er hat gar keinen Flash. Zeus ist immer noch da. Hey.
But KT with the objectives, HLE with the kill.
Yeah, I think this is 100% worth for KT. I think they're in a very...
Aber 100%, ja.
In that replay, things got a little bit funky, right? Guma actually had a great sidestep, was able to avoid BDD's ultimate. That was a fight-changing moment, even though he ultimately still died. So we'll watch this. So I was mentioning it when we jumped into the replay that Cuz was kind of lurking here, and there's
I mean, this is like Pantheon Q Smite, right?
Holding this, they didn't expect Cuz to come in. He has a Pantheon overall, but he had a Blast Cone. Good flash here from Kanavi is going to allow him to escape.
Es ist halt Pantheon Q Smite.
Even though he buys some time, but like you said, the top turret goes down. Its first brick, and this comp is just scaling.
Yep. And
Ocean Soul not great, but you know, 2 dragons start.
Yeah. And honestly, if HLE get an Ocean Soul, they're pretty psyched about it. KT though, also pretty happy with that because HLE may not necessarily have all of the damage. Right, bullet time is going to be devastating, but afterwards. Gumishi isn't necessarily as adept on this misfortune as far as consistent damage is
Das ist
concerned.
crazy. Wieso hat der so wenig Damage?
Actually, he knows now. Champion is now perfect. Is looking to make his way in.
Was macht er?
Is looking to make his way out via the death chamber, but maybe there's a kill in it for KT. Is Cuz going to bounce out of the
Effort reicht.
Delight aiming does get knocked up by the depth
Wie
charge.
kann er rein? Nee.
Will be taking a lot of damage, but it was, I believe, a ricochet that took.
Ja, so, Alter, der hat so wenig Damage gerade auf den Azir gerade unten, oder nicht?
Macro call here from KT.
I guess it's
perfect to help kill the Azir. Knowing that the Sion cross map doesn't have teleport and is a Sion, so can't really do that much damage to the turret, so it's not like they're gonna...
Also dieser Sahen kann so hart... Er hat eine Rohr, ja, schon, aber es ist trotzdem...
Send the Zahen on this flank down here. Zeka just did not expect it. I think he realized.
Also wenn der Sahen nicht Moment dann war die auch nicht, weil die haben auch... Also bis der Azir drei Items... Schön geultet. Bis der Azir 3 Items hat, haben die keinen DPS, oder nicht? 0 DPS. 0.
He comes in here after effort, sacrifices himself to set this one up, and they just do so much damage to Delight here, and Guma's damage is mostly ignored by Cuz. So they end up getting that turret in the bottom lane and the additional kills. Crazy down here for KT. Again, going to the late game. Sure, Guma has a advantage, but what he does later is very different from what this Sivir is going to do. And 1,000 gold, I think, doesn't necessarily work for MF if the rest of your team is behind.
Yeah, it's the rest of the team being behind.
It
certainly does feel like a win more champion in a lot of instances, and you can certainly win a whole lot more, especially like you get to a late game with Sion's like incredibly.
Schmeckt tatsächlich nach Donnerwelle. Komisch.
Sort of stuff, like you can see how this composition's supposed to work. Like if Zeka is actually able to do some consistent damage. The problem is he's almost 30 CS behind and is really struggling into BDD. And KT will have the damage to take down anyone on HLE if things keep going the way they are going.
He went for Sork shoes, by the way, Zeka did not go for the Greaves build.
Unterschlüsse, Gummo.
A little bit more side lane power, but he is so far behind that I don't know if that's going to work out for him in this game.
Ja, Kollege, perfekt. Wie machen wir's? Du hast CP ab. Der Herald-Fight sollte favored für euch sein.
Bit of burst out from aiming and effort there. Poke does come in.
Beide Toplane mit TP. Ich habe richtig befürchtet, dass dieser Sion hier gerade trotzdem stärker ist als der Sahen. Was ein Joke wäre. Aber der Damage bei den Carries von KT ist noch nicht so hoch.
Perfect is smashing the side, by the way, because The cool thing about Zahin into tanks, especially,
Nur noch wieder. Wieder. Gestern war nicht lang, gestern waren wir um 1:30 durch. Und das ist IO. Und heute sollte auch 2-0 sein, oder? Sentinels gegen Dignitas. Ja, heute sollte auch relativ schnell sein, meine ich. LCS ist Sentinels vs Dignitas und Lion gegen Lion. Das ist nicht bad. Das ist überhaupt nicht schlecht. Auch da ganz verfolgt. Ich hab's jetzt im Bett ein bisschen gedoomscrollt. Ja. Ich stehe durch den Fight ernst alle. Ja, die sind also gespiked genug, sind sie zumindest mal.
The problem is, Herald is going to be used to break open this mid lane. They will have priority there immediately. This just guarantees tempo moving towards this next dragon. And Aiming's also going to throw some skills towards Gumayushi. The spear does not connect, and not another charge out of Shelly, but not the end of the world there. It's KT.
Spielbar LCS 2-0 C9, 2-0 Shopify.
This dragon now. It's BDD moving on up. HLE, you can see, thinking about a contest, Zeka does have his teleport at the ready. But so it's perfect.
It's really hard to get the setup that they want for this misfortune here without some help. At least Zeka is going to get the faster TP in here. We'll see if Perfect wants to commit or if KT are just like...
Zeus ist noch nicht TP'd, right? Also der ist zwar da, aber der hat noch nicht TP-Schild.
...in starting this up ourselves and risking a poor fight.
This could actually 2 items for Perfect as well, as he does go back before teleporting in. Zeka didn't do the same thing, as now Strikebreaker is complete, so that is the 2 items, but they engage onto Cuz. That's the dragon secured by Kanavi, is aiming down to 50%.
Haben die Damage für den Scion?
This Scion, who is very tanky, in goes Kanavi, and there is the ulti.
Und Perfect einfach so, oh mein, oh, BDD Flash. Oh, es ist einfach lost, oder? Wow. Es ist... Es ist crazy, oder nicht? Dass dieser Scion einfach mehr Wert hat als der Gesahin, der komplett OP ist. Unbelievable.
As that's the unofficial ace here for HLE. What a bloodbath!
That was a huge bloodbath. 9 kills total there at the end as Zeus survives, but the setup here is not great for KT, and they're forcing the fight into this. This hook here from Delight is super high value. Then the Misfortune ultimate take.
Boah, ich glaube, Perfect geht hier wirklich davon aus.
KT decide, okay, we have enough damage to push into the Scion. And I think if we were a few...
ultet zu spät und nimmt so viel Damage.
It absolutely could have worked out, but instead it takes a lot of heroics here for them to win this fight, at least for the initial part of it, right? The flash from BDD, or rather the gaze from BDD, the flash from Aiming over the Emperor's Divide is what gets them into a fight where it's not like completely a wash. They do technically lose the fight as Cuz still makes this into a kill here on the Delight with his flash commitment, but it was a mess, as you say.
Wenn es einmal so richtig den Grund am Boden nervt, ne?
For HLE Esports to say they're back into the game, because Guma was already ahead and he was the one who got all this money. Like, I think if Zeka gets a lot of those kills, I'd feel a lot better for HLE Esports, but ultimately...
Scion zum einen, Scion Mann, ja, der war Bellen. Was ist Scions Winrate?
Team fight, they stymie the pressure a little bit here for KT.
Top Ligen, Refresh, Champion.
The is still getting bigger. This Cassiopeia is already quite large.
Yeah, I think they need a Lord Doms on Aiming, otherwise Zeus will just never die. This guy's feeling
49% Winrate. Ha.
Currently, his mortality has
49% in den Top Rates, in Top Ligen. Hallo Usel.
Just yet. I am frightened for what Gumayushi is now going to be capable of, right? He's got 3 items. Mortal Reminder is now done. And
ja, also gefühlt ist der Scion einfach 10-mal stärker als Zahin, aber es könnte natürlich auch sein, einfach nur, weil der Zahin nicht wirklich seinen Fight bekommen hat, right? Keine Passive abbekommen, nicht wirklich in die Backline Access gehabt.
That is the thing. That is the thing. Because he's quite immobile. He is quite easy to get on top of oftentimes, but KT are going to start this Baron up here. They think they have enough damage, and HLE Esports are going to be pretty caught off guard by this. Zeka does not have TP, he's going to have to rush over. Zeus does not have TP.
Kommt reingefahren. 50-50. Oh mein Gott, das ist bad.
Is coming on over here as the Scion's making his way up. HLE going to try and get on in here. Effort at 50% after that Baron went on through, but
I'm not sure if
everyone else is pretty healthy.
Had to back off.
Ja, dieser eine Drake ist natürlich jetzt Gold wert.
I think sometimes
Haben wir right.
opportunistic play, and if you can get out safely, after you're found out, then that is a good thing to
They
do.
got the Scion ultimate, but yeah, I don't know about starting it again now that they're all here.
Yeah, that might not be the optimal plan.
Yeah.
They do have teleport advantage as far as top lane coming up very
Was kauft Effort? Was kauft man aus Adder Wisp?
so Perfect will have that
Base
one.
Item. Was?
For an angle here, but in goes Kanavi as well.
Animal Kanavi.
As the bullet time is looking for just a Cassio.
Ah, funktioniert halt.
Still, Cuz is able
Oh,
to
Perfect geht seine Pässe ab.
now Kanavi's in a lot of trouble. He'll go down as well as this.
Aha.
And this time the passive gets stacked.
Aha.
Perfect takes down Gumayushi. This is the problem we were talking about.
Yeah,
If he dies, all their money's gone.
Last team fight, he couldn't get it, but this time he does. A huge difference maker here is Guma is dead and Zeus is
Haben die Damage für den?
far, and that's all he is.
But he's a lot of that.
Haben die Damage für den?
Very long time, and Zeka's Sand Soldiers are actually getting some work done. Perfect.
Ha.
Just going to back away.
Also, das ist crazy. Shureyas? Ist es Shureyas? Ich weiß es nicht.
Guma's up in 10 seconds here. KT
Jureus bei Effort.
the
Okay,
damage, but they still end up winning the exchange. As Kanavi goes so deep
Die
here.
hat Magic, glaubst du? Ich weiß nicht, ob der nicht so free war, to be fair.
Really, with the help of Guma, focus down BDD, but look at what Zahin is doing on the other side, right? Perfect gets on top of Guma. There is really no protection. The Scion can't do enough. Is unable to deny the passive, and so Guma goes down, so it's a 3-for-1. No Baron for KT just yet.
Ja, MF ohne Flash.
Rinse and repeat as LDR gets closer and closer. Looks like he's actually going Mortal Reminder. Yep, another problem here for the comp of HLE.
Well, Cuz going in one more time. Kanavi and Delight are looking to try and get rid of him. But Cuz is looking very antsy at the moment.
Schaut euch Zeus an. Zeus an.
Started as the Miasma goes
Mr.
down.
Balanced.
Zeus almost took a damage. There we go. He took a damage. See that? It was
Er hat Mortal Reminder gekauft. Ich verstehe.
Just a little bit there. Cloud,
Ah,
at this point, you're still in the cards
ich
for
verstehe.
KT potentially, but there's also that Baron to consider.
Ob Sion sterben wird? Ich glaube
They are
nicht.
putting a lot of damage into that Scion.
Yep, trying to stop him from being that immovable tank in the front line. They do get 50% of the way through that health bar.
And with no exchange either. He's getting some honey fruit, that's very annoying.
Pullback does come on through here, but
Ah, ich bin gechunkt.
big old shield, so he'll be all right.
Oh mein Gott, der Leid.
Now hit onto BDD.
Oh, BDD ist...
This time we'll get flash and Spectrifying Gaze.
BDD ist einfach fast jedes Mal One-Shot, ne? Das ist so krass.
BDD will find the kill as now Kanavi will be going down. Cuz is going to get traded, but KT once again find the angle and Gumayushi. He's
Und dann mal Trade versteckt. Oh wow, Perfect ist geflasht. Oh wow.
actually be able to get something towards Perfect here, but
Ist er tot? Er ist tot. Lol. Und Zeus ist weggerannt, weil er dachte, Perfect ist tot. Nein, ist das Troll. Ist das Troll.
I saw he did like a fan meet for his birthday on his Instagram as well. I highly recommend you guys follow him on Instagram. He makes a lot of great content there. It's very funny. But look, Delight here still connects. It's actually not a good thing though, because he dies instantly.
Ja, wäre der Gumayushi natürlich einen halben Zentimeter weiter vorne, dann ja.
Able to do enough damage. It doesn't hit all of the targets, right? And then aiming a BD or sitting at like 130.
Jetzt aber wieder kein... Also, nächster Fight sollte eigentlich wieder Favorites für HLE sein, oder? 4 Flashes down. Also ist der Nash weg? Warte mal. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott, und der Drake ist weg. Oh mein Gott, das ist... Oh mein Gott. Ich sehe 4 Flashes, ich sehe 5 Flashes down bei KT. Ich sehe einen Lost Teamfight.
Do this either in exchange because Guma's so far behind they don't have the wave in mid. But that was a bit weird. How much will it matter though? I don't know. The Dragon might go over because of this. I think Kanavi probably should head over there and help his team start this one up because it would be second Dragon for them to put us at 2 apiece, and Effort will respawn in 5 seconds. Pretty nice window here for them to do that. Now KT are trying to use this for another Baron attempt.
If at first you don't succeed, back to the Baron.
HLE hat auch eine Node-Flasche, aber ohne Flasche sollte es eigentlich... Also wenn... Okay, Gumayushi kann gecatcht werden vom Sahin. Ansonsten ist No-Flash-Situation, glaube ich, besser für HLE. Einfach nur wegen Jarvan plus... MF-Kombo.
I want to say I think KT are in control of this game, but I'm starting to get a little confused as well.
Ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube nicht, dass sie in Charge sind.
Perfect has to step back, and then shield comes down. There's no shield for Effort.
I mean,
he does have one more.
Delight was really heads up. Being able to get on in there, make sure that they had eyes on the Baron. Otherwise, it would have just gone down, right? With no vision available for HLE.
Das ist richtig, dass sie Blut forcen. Zek hat noch keinen Seekers.
Significant here for this upcoming fight. So many of these fights have been almost killing the carries for KT, and then the carries kill the front line while Perfect is killing Guma on the other side, right? Like that's what almost every fight has looked like. So HLE need to make sure that they can either fight differently to peel for Guma or make sure they kill those carries on the initial salvo. Speaking of,
Einfach, du bist des Wahnsinns. Einfach, du bist des Wahnsinns. Und Kanavi, was hast du da oben gemacht gerade?
The turret does put things better for HLE.
Yeah, the money-wise, definitely a better trade for HLE.
Ihr seid beide des Wahnsinns.
Map now, definitely advantage to KT as Kanavi is no longer a threat for a potential objective. This time the engage is onto a Karma.
Was macht mein Javan da?
Ha! Call it out, and they're just like, no, you can't.
Animal.
Kanavi is trying to fish for these angles, but he keeps getting punished as a result of it. It'll be his 5th death of the game, and maybe like the 9th time's the charm here for KT on this Pharah, and I think this time, surely with Buzz having the advantage here, Kanavi's just respawning, he doesn't have a global ultimate. Surely this time they get the Baron.
If they just force, they will get the Baron. The question
Fightet
is,
HLE jetzt?
get out afterwards.
Oh, die fahren rein, ne?
And there goes the Baron.
Okay.
Look, the answer's yes.
Karma makes them run fast, and they get out.
Yeah, and also Civic can make them run fast, but not right now, because that one's on cooldown.
Okay, well, HLE, I think the way this comp functions, or isn't functioning, is it's like not Guma's fault, right? Like he's angling, he's falling.
Es ist kein AI gegen AI fertig. Mal sehen. Nur BDD ist sehr stark. Ja, die sind alle jetzt nicht schwach.
He's the main character here for HLE. The problem is he needs so much setup, and KT's positioning has just made it so difficult for them to actually line those kills up. And now we're in a game state, like I said before, where Kanavi goes on top of aiming, and aiming likes it that way, right? The BDD damage is really, really, really high. Now with his Void Staff completed as well, I think he's level 16, so this Scion is just not...
Ich sehe alle Flashes wieder ab bei Hanwha. Das wird ein Problem.
Champions just melt. The Nautilus, the Jarvan are really having a bad time.
Yeah, and at least Delight does, have...
Morgen wäre was? 18 Watt, DJ.
To get built up, right? He is not going to be the although he looks very squishy. It's a little bit of a shame. And now KT are looking to get a bit of a siege on. They have a very short-range comp, right? So sieging is actually quite difficult, but they annihilate minion waves so incredibly quickly, and HLE don't necessarily have snipers of their own. And the Anchor is going to just barely go wide. Looks like a bit of a push into slink back towards the Drake could be a bit of an option here, but the bottom lane, that's an
get Shadow for them third. Interesting.
Yeah, KT are just focused on the 4-1 here to try to open up the base because they want more than just a back off and drag, and they want to start opening up these inhibitors. And they have really good wave clear with this Sivir. And the Cassiopeia as well is going to do serious work if an engage comes through from HLE. BD's peeling ultimates all game long have been amazing. I mean, shutting down Zeka's initial shuffle attempt in the early game was the first of which, but he has had a great game on this Cassiopeia that he blinded here into HLE. Is there an engage?
Yeah, flash from Kanavi gets himself out of the Cataclysm as well.
Oh, wait, Cuss. Shot off perfect. Shot off perfect. Er macht sehr viel Damage. Kanavi ist so ein Animal. Oh mein Gott. Kanavi ist actually so ein Animal. Dass er da reingeht, ne? Das ist so krank.
The rest of these kills. Delight still has an inner turret that he can head over to and does have his 80 carry here at the same time.
GG.
He may not have a Nexus for very much.
Super OP draft.
One will go down, and Nexus turret number 2 is very shortly going to go down as well. Gumayushi doesn't have bullet time, and this Nexus will not have health as KT's revenge has started here in round 2 of LCK 2026.
Very impressive early mid-game here from KT. Sure, there were some fumbles on the Baron, but their lead and their composition was so good in the late game that it just left Hanwha Life Esports' comp with very little options. You mentioned it early on.
Ja, Comp schwierig. Richtig Nautilus kommt sie behind von dem Early Game. Auch wenn sie honestly ziemlich gute Ansätze hatten in Teamfights. Mal sehen, ob die nächsten Fight kochen oder nächstes Game kochen.
No, that's how it works. You have a cheese, you have a misfortune. No, you have a misfortune that fires at the ones caught by like a Scion knockup or a Jarvan ulting, Kanavi. It's a misfortune step. That's how Swiss cheese is made. Look it up.
Oh man, I never knew.
Yeah, that's how they did the old days in Switzerland.
This is the best thing, is that this is also a learning broadcast where we figure things out mainly about cheese.
Yeah, Gumayushi invented it actually, but unfortunately it was a little bit stymied in this game. Wasn't able to do it. You know, he's doing his job, but the rest of the machines, the mechanisms weren't working because Perfect just got on top of him and killed him every time. KT respond with a great draft here, and this start makes you wonder if maybe this is the beginning of the comeback for KT Monster.
The beginning of the first 6 gamer of the season, baby. That might be what we can get to if HLE managed to fight back. We are going to take a short break. When we get back, the space can...
Ja, das sind Handwärmer. Genau, das sind Handwärmer. Verrückt. Der bleibt da nicht mehr in College. Ja gut, ne? Chelsea 4 Jahresverträge. Den Vertrag aufgelöst zu bekommen, das schmeckt auch bestimmt. Lief, danke für den 15. Dankeschön. Und wir sehen, dass AL heute BLG einstellt, wirklich. Ah, vielleicht, hoffentlich. Ja, bis hier, das wäre cool. Ich glaube da, wenn ich sehe, aber cool wär's.
적극적으로 해보던지 아니면 뭐 갖고 빨리 쏴라 빨리
와서 그냥 미드 다이브 봐도 이길 것 같아. 이렇게 깨다가 용검 될 듯?
지금 좀 적극적으로 해보자
한번 다이브 갔다 볼게.
해보자 사람만 높여
나 떨어질게 나도.
아 사람
나 행복해 얘들아.
아니 우리
천천히
빨리 아지를 빨려 판테온 빨려
다음부터.
타워 깨봐
야
판테
자리 좋아
자이냐
이제 자리 좋아. 야 아지를 토스 조심해.
자라만 높여
아 만약에 봐줘 이거.
살려줄게
야 자리 좋아 자리 좋아.
자라봐
야 자리 좋아.
아래
높을.
아래 좀 봐.
아 앞에부터 봐 앞에부터.
아지르
야 아지르.
나이스
가면 끝나.
Es sind Handwärmer. Das ist nicht irgendwie für Schwitzekinder oder sowas. Blockiert den Herald vom Chargen. Ja, oder? Sollte. Sollte, wenn sie steht. Kann sie nicht knockbacken, aber sollte, wenn sie steht. Müsste so funktionieren, yes. Kann OnQ? Ja. OnQ kann es blocken, ja. Haben wir schon ab und an gesehen. So, sagen wir Banger, ja. Echt eine Frechheit, dass ich by the way auf 300, wie viel EP sind wir? Elo. Auf 330 sind noch nicht auf 400 irgendwas, so eine Frechheit, oder 500 sogar. Eigentlich 500, wenn die Games so gelaufen wären, wie sie hätten laufen sollen. Frechheit. Hallo Kleis, hola. Hallo. Was eigentlich wieder heißt, ist Shazam jetzt. Shazam jetzt. So, Toilette und dann Game 2 mit einem wahrscheinlich besseren Job von Hanwa, oder? Shirley.
Every sky is a line I'm drawn. Cut by cut, mark by mark, my name forever in the stone.
Hello everyone, welcome to the space here in Tijijik Law Park. Digon here alongside Wadid and Huni, and last time these two teams met, it was at the top of the table. This time, it's surprising everyone with a huge victory for KT in game number 1. And they did it straight up. Like, it didn't really feel like anything was given. They did the Baron dance, they pulled off Baron. Baron did pick off effort. But ultimately, KT looking a little bit more like that round 1 KT.
Yeah, I think this is one that they really wanted to play around, is have the bot priority and Cuz play into it. And I think that's the basic step that you can have nowadays. I think that's literally why they could have a successful game 1. I think them having a great 3v3 on the bot lane helped a lot.
Yeah, I mean, KT rollercoaster is back. What can I say? They can lose against anyone. They can win against anyone.
Well, let's dive into it with some of the big plays here. We start off at 18 minutes near the Drake. This is Drake number 3, and, you know, it'd been tit for tat, but here the big fight breaks out.
Yeah, this is the team fight where they already got the Drake by themselves, HLE. So I think here, you don't really need to engage here. Like, you already got the objective, your Azir is already hitting the front line, so all you need to do is just kite back, wait for the right moment. But I think here, Knavi engages and it missed the flag and drag on the Cassiopeia, and I think that puts HLE in a really bad position here.
Yeah, I mean, the worst case is like at least he
Hoffentlich 3 Games. Bestimmt hat die LCK diesen Split noch eine 6 Game Woche, ganz, oder 6 Game Spieltag, ganz bestimmt. Alles geskriptet. Und selbst, nee, eigentlich unmöglich, weil Bro 2-0 drüber fährt. Weil Bro 2-0 drüber fährt, aber 100%.
I think if aiming didn't flash over the Emperor's Divide, Hanwha could have just ran away with it there. Instead, it ends up being a very close 5-4 for Hanwha Life Esports. But then that leads us to a fight here in the mid lane, 23 minutes on in, where, again, yeah, finally decisive for KT.
I mean, I think this is the positive
Die
point.
Bros machen heute Playoffs klar.
In the same team. You can
Okay, die fährt auch zwar nur drüber. Mal gucken, wie der Draft
because
ist.
I don't think you can actually
Draft, sehr wichtig.
whenever you try to engage Zahan, will try to defend Casio, and she's too tanky.
And also here, Nola's engaged, but there was no follow-up. The follow-up, if they were a little bit more close, if they popped the Cassiopeia there, would have been good engaged. But the thing is, they were not ready. And also the Chop is they're trying to approach different side, as a 2, but they don't really have a flank champion. It's just HLE lost the small fight at the top side. The fact that the KT has a first setup, but the KT did KT thing after.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to do the Nasher, but it didn't work out, and they managed to get the Drake by HLE. Yeah, I mean, so many oopsies, so many back and forth happening, but I think the important part is that the KT had the better composition where they can just...
Ob endlich mal wieder bestellen kann.
At some point I felt really bad about
Ja. Um 11 ist ein Restock. Ich mache ein CTA. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich ihn während dem Game mache. Wahrscheinlich nicht. Ich mache ihn nach dem Game. Nur als Heads up. Gibt bis zu 30% auf Zerops. Ab 5 bestellten Zerops bekommt ihr 30%. Es gibt einen Restock von manchen. Und es gibt einen Restock von Chunkies. Und das hier, Bananarama, soll insane sein. Ich esse gerade Donauwelle. Das ist neu. Hier, Donauwelle, das ist ganz lecker. Das hier ist nicht gut. Das finde ich überhaupt nicht gut, persönlich. Physis habe ich nicht probiert. Ja, die habe ich nicht probiert, kann ich euch nicht sagen. Ja. Das Ölspray ist fein. Also, wenn ihr Ölspray wollt, holt euch das. Das ist fein. Donauwelle ist wie interessant. Ja, ist lecker. Ja. Das als kleines Setup. Oh, Ice Coffee Brownie Marshmallow ist Peak. Also, ja. Der Sektenführer könnt ihr gerne Way wieder auffüllen. Ja, Ice Coffee Brownie Marshmallow. Ihr dürft nur eine pro Bestellung. Also ihr dürft nur eins bestellen pro Bestellung. Das hier ist insane. Also wenn ihr so einigermaßen Ice Coffee mögt, das hier ist absoluter Peak. Brownie Marshmallow. Ja, hier Rabattcode OPSI. Und wenn ihr bestellt, nehmt bei dem Giveaway im Discord teil. Aber ja, ich mache gleich noch ein CTA.
Get the smallest of margins, making a lot of mistakes throughout the process here with Did, but showing hey, we've seen what T1 and Gen G provided.
Ich habe so einen Pre-Pack-Link. Wie funktioniert das? Woher? Also kann ihn jeder benutzen oder was? Spragt ist stark nach Kaffee, der Brownie Marshmallow 0. Aber wenn du gar keinen Kaffeegeschmack haben willst, dann nimm Milky Chinos. Milky Chino schmeckt nicht nach Kaffee. Hat Koffein drin, aber schmeckt nicht nach Kaffee.
We all know what Kanavi has, Sometimes he giveth, sometimes he taketh.
I feel like there was a lot of focus this week on the Saturday Showdown T1 Gen G.
Vielleicht macht das CT einfach mit dem Game. Scheiß drauf. Schaut mal.
We forgot how awesome this matchup can be. The fans didn't, they were roaring. So let's send it back on over to our casters for game number 2.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Alle Creator können so einen Link von More stellen.
And yeah, it did feel a little bit like things could have been problematic.
Was?
More problematic for
Kann ich da auch einen machen?
Heroics for the bottom lane on their side, but that was kind of the only positives that we really could have gone to, and that is Wei, by the way. I was like, I recognize this guy.
Yeah.
Who is this again?
That's Wei. He is, he's been one of the supports we've talked a lot about. Hype's old partner, but did not make it really in the LCK.
And
glad to see he's here supporting them, though.
This is Jin Saemin, and she is an announcer here in Korea as well. So some famous people making their way out for HLE versus KT.
It's a good game.
Is a pretty good.
Ich auf den Link, hast du den Warenkorb, kannst du selber Sachen rauslöschen und punktuell hast du dann meinen Code drin, oder wie läuft das? Anzulangen für den 4.
Himself in the support role. Used to play alongside Hype quite a lot.
Digga, was ist das?
Oh,
du bist so ekelhaft.
LCK Challenges.
So widerlich.
So there we go.
Yeah, back in the day, was
Und hallo Nano.
one of the announcers there.
Ist Way bei Heretics? Ja.
Interviews.
Yep.
Let's jump into the second game.
Okay.
Hanwha Life Esports chose first pick, which surprises me because I think there's a lot of strong duos for Guma to
Wenn Sie noch den Code haben, ganz viel Liebe.
Seraphine Guma has not
Ganz
lost
viel Liebe.
Ash in LCK this
Nimm
year.
beim Gewinnspielanteil im Discord.
And also
So,
potentially
Drafty.
for your solo laners could be really powerful as well. But it looks like they want to get, for example, Xin Zhao, which is I think maybe what they'll first pick here in this game, and then wait to counterpick the next one based on what KT show, whether it's the bottom duo or elsewise. So I think as KT Rolster, there's a few different things you can try to do here. Like you could just ban Ashe and see what happens. You could ban the Xin, which would be unusual. And then things like the Nocturne will go up in priority, but Annie's gone. I think this is a great choice because KT will just Wukong Annie in any situation.
Yep. I also think that maybe the Bard ban can go away. Maybe they can use that as a flex slot to deny something like the Ashe, but I'm a little bit confused about what that first pick priority is going to go to. You mentioned the Xin Zhao, but that can leave you susceptible to something like Yunara Lulu, any sort of like Lulu lane, if that Ashe is banned away, and the Xin doesn't feel necessarily as powerful. Kanavi, obviously one of our players, doesn't really care.
What if you ban, okay, so you ban Lucian here, they go for the Xin first pick, and then you end up getting the Ashe Seraphine. Will they be able to answer is the real question.
I think Ashe, Vi first pick is going to be coming on through here.
So a completely different look for this draft than what I expected. And this does open the door for Ashe Seraphine in a big way, though.
Yeah, I feel like
Ja.
so incredibly strong here.
Ich sehe auf jeden Fall offen.
Ashe Seraphine and lock the Xin on
Ab ist in Saumitte. Boah, schwierig zu lehnen.
Get some additional information.
I think denying Ashe Seraphine is probably
Schwierig zu lane.
something that they want to do.
Yeah, I'm just.
And that's what they
Kann ich mir vorstellen.
This is why I'm kind of puzzled by
Freeze, 2 Items.
here for Hunter Life Esports, because in game 2 of Fearless with this set of champions, Ashe Seraphine stocks are so high.
Yeah.
And so, is it going to be a Jhin draft here where it's single target pick? You know, like, is it going to be
Jhin
Bard? All right. Oh, it's going to be the Guma Ziggs angle.
All right. Ziggs Bard? Ziggs
Aha.
This has been such a volatile.
Aha.
This is a little bit scary, but can definitely get a lot of work done, especially with the fact that you've got Vi going in to guarantee hold someone in place. The follow-up that you then have is very, very scary.
Very bursty, but
Ja, Lanes in Saar habe ich nicht so viel gesehen persönlich. Aber
I really think that you need to lock Xin here, though. Like, you see Xin.
ja, Jungle auf 4-5 weiß ich jetzt nicht.
Yeah, come on. Let's not be
Jungle auf 4-5 weiß ich wirklich nicht.
yeah, I agree with you. It's very powerful into Ziggs specifically.
Ha.
Like they have something else on.
Wow, jetzt wird ein Sau gebannt und
Wukong can still work here in this draft.
Wukong?
You're going to have a very weak early game. You're going to have to lean on the fact that your Ashe Seraphine will naturally have a lot of power, but not as strong as it would be.
Ari into Rice Matchup. Well,
Pike on the other side. You have to
ich
play
glaube fein für Ari, aber Rice halt Rice später. Aber ist komplett fein für Ari.
See what KT want to do next here. They really just want to have that Rise and the Realm Warp possibility and the roam power there. Now, once upon a time, we would have considered the Ziggs a flex pick, but I think with the Pike already locked in, we know where it's going. So Zeka will have his opportunity for counter pick. That's why we see the Anivia here first. Cassiopeia is fearlessly banned, so I think the stocks on the Rise are pretty up for that reason.
Yeah, Zeka has played Ziggs so far this season, and Mel is still available. I actually wouldn't mind KT banning Mel, just because Mel Pike has been another thing that's found a fair bit of success, and I feel like that whole combination is pretty scary.
Before this Rise was locked in, that was definitely on my mind. But I think now with the Rise here, you want to have something that's a little
Okay, Nocturne sind Saar, das heißt Wukong wäre offen. Lee Sin. Gerade spielt Kass Lee Sin.
Skirmish. They could ban Ari.
Will sie lang 35er Streak. Spielt Kass Lee Sin? Weiß ich nicht. Bestimmt, oder wäre jetzt auch mein Take, aber ich weiß es nicht.
Twisted Fate, similar situation, but a little bit more global power, right? And a lot of ability to set up picks around the map more than Ari. Yeah, but I actually like this ban a lot.
Yeah, I also feel like if TF
Ja, sie gestern war solid Game 1 mit fetter Draft Diff, Game 2 malocht.
The Yorick is going to be the last ban, so I guess they get Xin Zhao for free. I find that kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe they're expecting that Cuz wants to Wukong here, but I don't think he does, not in this draft.
Oh, maybe they lock top lane so that they can trundle whatever tank gets locked in or something like that. That could be an option that they're looking for. As aiming,
he does hover this sometimes, so I don't think this is going to be anything interesting.
Spielt Lee Sin. Okay.
Huh.
Frage beantwortet.
The Xin angle was really good. Did it get banned and I didn't notice?
No, it's still up.
Huh, there you go.
Doesn't want to do it. as this is what another problem with first pick is.
Nehmen wir raus, TF raus.
Counter picks, or the counter pick to
Ja, Talia könntest du spielen.
rise up into the top lane.
Oh, wieder Jace blind mit Jorikbon. Ja.
But now we've got this dive comp that's
Mein Jorik ist raus, Sion ist raus, right.
and it's a little bit weird in its
Und GT-Comp hat wenig Reach bisher. Sehr wenig Reach, wenn er jetzt noch Talia kommt.
Somebody that does consistent damage.
Yeah, I mean, it is a poke comp, right? We do have the Talia.
Sehr wenig Reach.
Maybe the answer to this rise. Talia Vi has been something that's found a lot of success, and you mentioned already, Kanavi and Zeka have been a pretty incredible 1-2 punch as far as mid and jungle is concerned.
I think this is so simple, this block. This Cassante is so simple because
Boah, ich glaube die Comp, ich mag die Comp von Hanwha mehr.
scaling threats. You've got a lot of
Ich weiß nicht, wie Hanwha später, also wie KT später raufkommen will.
build, right? It becomes
Weiß ich nicht.
blow up instantly in fights, and then you have two main threats. You have the peel of the Lee Sin, but you also have a lot of engagement. You've got the arrow, you've got the Seraphine ult, you've got the Lee Sin flanks.
Sieht in meinem Kopf sehr schwierig aus.
AT kinda got
Und die haben hartes One-Shot-Potenzial.
And on Hanwha Esports side, if the Jace or the Talia were different picks here, I would have been a little bit more enthusiastic about it, but I kind of feel like this draft is trying to do too many things. It's like trying to both poke with a lot of Ziggs, Jace,
weiß nicht, ob ich damit zustimmen würde.
backline. I'm like, you know, it's kind of caught between two identities.
So.
It's like poke disengage with a Vi. That's what it is. And I think that Kanavi is completely out of theme, but Kanavi will always be out of theme with a poke comp no matter what. So let him have fun and whatever he wants to play, and then try and pick up the pieces from there. Sounds like a decent strategy. The thing that HLE do have is they
So, seid ihr bereit für Subway Surfer?
So if they can deny any of these engages, then they will be in a very good spot. I think this is more playable than last game.
I definitely
That's
agree.
what I'm thinking.
I definitely agree.
Well, we'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to jump onto the Rift for game number 2. As KT looks to try and get their revenge.
Really, danke für den 5er-Streak.
Oh my goodness. Chichijik Lowpark is
Natürlich.
absolutely popping today.
It's very full.
This is
Der einmal, wenn er kaufen wollt, 10 Sekunden.
as Delight.
Mach CTA nach dem Game, ich habe mich dafür entschieden. Ich mach's nach dem Game.
They're just going to walk past each other.
Ja.
Not too
Bin immer sorry, I'm sorry. Lukas, danke für den 11. Monat.
Second game
2 Sekunden.
Ziggs this season, which feels wrong because he's
Yeah.
really turned around his Ziggs. He was one of our Ziggs players, you know, a year and a half ago where we were
Ja,
like,
bis zu 30% auf Zero-Ups. Schnappt sie Zero-Ups. Sind Peak. Das nicht.
Yeah, he was mainly
Pineapple ist lecker, White Peach Sauer ist lecker.
thing for a little while and then
Ja.
decided to be,
Honey Peach Tea ist lecker.
you know, if you can't beat it,
Kodopsi.
sorry, the thing, so he decided
Ja.
to join.
Jetzt dann noch das CTA nach dem Game und dann sind wir durch.
So he has actually, found a fair bit of success, which is pretty important. Having that extra string to your bow going to be very, very nice, especially for a team like HLE that really do like to mess with a bunch of different picks.
Yeah,
Größte Schwäche von Hanwha war
is part of the
Kanavi, aber auch eventuell die größte Stärke.
He's only played
Ja,
it
okay.
once this season, is 0-1 on it, but certainly a pick we've seen him pick up a lot in the past, and it's a pick that works incredibly well with Vi, a pick that suits the playstyle and the draft here quite a bit, and also has the ability to
Ein bisschen zur Checke, hallo Judith.
and match the Rise quite well. Plus, it's great for Siege. With Ziggs, it's amazing because you can start to focus a turret down, the Weavers wall them away, and then Ziggs gets a satchel out. And
Gibt schon Termin für das Div 3 Match? Nee, die
an incredible
bestimmte Personen machen es sehr schwierig und bestimmte Personen sind nicht bei uns.
Yeah.
Grüß Gott, hallo.
Have to try and deal with Delight here, who does take a fair bit of damage.
Manche Menschen machen es sehr schwierig.
They're looking to try and chase him down. There's the flash as
Ja, wie gesagt, nicht bei uns sind.
And there is the
Wow.
execute from effort. Satchel not
Wow.
enough there from Gumayushi. Cute idea.
Der Leiter ist reported.
Doesn't get him close enough to take any turret damage or anything like that. First blood in this bottom lane already.
Yeah, this is, at least for Guma, the good news is he's alive and he can still farm here, but a pretty big disaster.
6 Minuten Zeit zum Checkout.
This Ziggs lane, and he needs to just make sure he doesn't take too much damage here, as Delight is just going to roam. He wants to find something somewhere else here, while Guma is going to back after this wave. The Ash damage early,
Caster Wolf finde ihn fein.
and that's all he can really do in his passive procs once. Like, that's all he can do in these early trades. So when Delight doesn't actually get the damage he's looking for here, it's pretty easy for aiming and effort to kind of turn into the all-in, pop the ghost, and do that damage, because, you know, Guma did his thing. He pressed his buttons, and then there's nothing else he can offer there. The satchel was a nice attempt, like you said, but does not actually get him close enough to the turret.
Oh, wow. So, also, I really liked how KT played the ender, and it actually shows that KT's communication has crisped up a fair bit, because aiming was like, no, I don't want to flash for this, and Effort's like, well, we have to get first blood, I'm just going to flash for it. You could even see the moment where they were kind of deliberating, and then eventually flashes, presses Q, and manages to get that kill locked down. It might not have even been enough with only one auto from aiming there to finish that.
Yeah, that's the scary thing. Also, getting yourself close to that turret.
Yeah. So it does mean now aiming holds on to his flash, even after that first blood did go on down. As Minefield comes in, Kanavi was looking for an angle but doesn't quite find it as in goes Cuz, but he just gets booped away like a little game of cricket up there in the top lane.
Yeah, we do have
baseball if you are that way inclined.
we do have on the bottom side of the map, Kanavi was trying to make a play, but
So, ich habe nachgefragt nach so einem Vorpacklink.
out to where they're quite safe and see if anybody gets rooted again, because aiming, even though he doesn't have Ghost anymore, because he's Ashe and he does have that flash, like if you get caught.
Frag mich vorhin immer, ob beide Flashes für den Early Kill auf dem Support immer Würfel in Lane wird, dass ich halt gegavotet hier. Ja, wie es schon geschrieben wird, ist nur Effort geflasht. Und ja, ich meine, das ändert natürlich ein bisschen die Dynamik im Jungle. Ändert natürlich ein bisschen die Dynamik im Jungle, du musst ein bisschen covern auf bestimmten Waves, aber ich glaube, ansonsten ist generell fein.
Crazy wrap around here trying to get some additional information, but maybe even looking for something deeper, as Kanavi is going to come over as well here, and they're just going to try to gank Cuz on Raptors.
Yeah, he actually is
Das ist ein ziemlich guter Gank.
Yeah, kick his way into two people. Does have to
Camp ging aber an Kanavi, passt.
Under the flash, and that is important.
Camp ging an
Kanavi. Won't be the end of the world. So, and he's also going to lose his Raptors. Still, Effort holding onto the wave down here is not exactly optimal, so it's not like Delight is going to get punished for that movement. It's Perfect just doing what he can to survive in this lane, going to be a different story to what we were seeing on the Zehen in the last game. But just wanting to be that front line for the team. And so far, so good. 5 CS behind, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the bottom lane here where Ziggs is actually doing quite a bit of work. You know, he actually Guma has a significant CS advantage.
Was passiert und was verhaltest du an Reset ist? Ja, ich glaube, also mit Level 2 Kill wirst du nicht in extra, also das wird jetzt nicht den Unterschied machen, right, ob du jetzt am Gang stirbst oder nicht. Ich glaube, es wäre komisch zu sagen, also ich glaube, es wäre komisch zu sagen, es ist nicht worth it, für einen Kill zu flashen, right? Ändert dann einfach ein bisschen die Dynamik, wie du Lane spielst.
Then they're going to feel great, as we might actually have a real skirmish over it right now. Zeka does have Weaver's Wall. BDD heading top.
So, Level 6. Interessant, warum catcht Kanavi jetzt hier nicht ein Creep auf Mitte für Level 6? Das verstehe ich nicht. Das ist mir ein unerklärliches. Jogo, danke für die 50er Streak. Oh, den Tod, die smiten jetzt ein Minion oder nicht? Das ist ein Minion für 6. Jetzt Level 6 und Aiming ist auch noch tot. Schön.
That's a double kill going on over to Guma as the answer from HLE even better.
Quite a bizarre situation on the bottom side. Effort's movement as well, like he just got flashback up, but he didn't have it. I'm not really sure what he was trying to say by that. It almost felt like they thought they could turn this into some sort of like turn under turret where they actually win. Like it's like Effort is baiting here. You know?
Ja, aber ich verstehe, also erneut, ganz oft habe ich das Gefühl, die Jungler sind halt, so wie jetzt Kanavi, quasi ein Creep weg von Level 6. Es funktioniert jetzt hier der Play, aber dennoch.
I think they were very aware of it. It's just very strange. Also, Aiming's flash was very late, and after he was caught there, I think probably not using it would have been the better call.
I actually think never use it, because otherwise the Mega Inferno Bomb is going to kill you because you flash and then the Vice still holds you in position. That's why this combo is so powerful, right? Is that you just cannot avoid the big boom boom. But you know, maybe just don't press the button and then it'll be fine.
So we are still setting up for an early dragon fight here. Guma is pretty huge at this point, does have even that extra Hextech alternator worth of damage. If he can get into position to use that damage, does not have his ult, and
gut zu geben.
looks like he's just opting out.
Also, fein zu geben natürlich.
Yeah, that's not going to be going their way. So Cuz
Bei Sabbern? Ja, vielleicht.
and KT's bottom lane obviously
Ja, ich sehe jetzt halt keine Flash auf Ashe. Jetzt wird's unangenehm, oder nicht? Und das müsste fertiges Looten sein bei Guma. Bottom ist komplett over.
Very good at Jace. If you guys have been under a rock for like 10 years, this is kind of his pick. So This will be scary as we make it further and further into the game. I know that, you know, Perfect
Noch
doesn't
kein
like
Ludens fertig.
time and then be a big tank, but if you fall too far behind, you can just be a liability and money for Zeus, which is
How much damage?
yeah, the
Guma?
opponent doesn't like that.
Wait, Guma gets that hit.
Arrow.
He may also be in a little bit of danger.
Was?
Nah, he's fine.
Hey.
He will be zoned out of this wave and will have to use his ult to clear it. And he'll be totally fine unless
Jetzt hat er Def Ludens, oder?
his back is stopped.
Oh wow, ist er tot auf Bottom?
As we are going to watch a Pike
Muss er raus, die Pin?
So two things happening on both sides of the map right now.
Nee, er ist
Yeah, this could
Muss
be
er rausziehen?
one. Dive could be
Er kann nicht rausziehen, da ist Arrow ab.
here, as they do.
Oh, war ja, Gumayushi ist tot, oder? Aber der muss die Wave, der muss legit Wave. Ja, ja.
Let's see if anyone
Wenn er Bottom Wave bekommt und Perfect stirbt hier, dann ist es okay-ish.
goes all out and gets all out as Delight could be in trouble now on the back end. Gumayushi is going to die. As
Wave of Bottom ist weg.
Credit volley comes in, but Perfect gets a bit of a shield. Still with the Ghost, that is going to be the guaranteed kill, but it takes out
Yeah.
HLE a bunch of extra time to grab that
Huh.
kill. Whether that actually means
Warum ist er da nicht
is
gebased?
yet to be known.
Yeah, I don't know
Also
if it
Gumayushi.
necessarily matters that he took a lot of time, but if he had killed Delight there, it would have been crazy.
Ruby Küste bei Jace, Jibbel Cleaver, oder?
Happens in this, okay, just pretty straight up simple as it
I mean, Wave ist weg erneut. Das ist das Hauptding.
Gumayushi just giving aiming a lesson in don't press flash, you're probably dead.
Oh, this all-out angle. Insane. After
Boah, die Wi-Ult ist auf Cooldown, ne?
cannot actually
Das ist
Q3.
verrückt.
If Delight hadn't have hit that Bone Skewer as well, there's a chance that Perfect actually makes it far enough to get himself out.
Yeah,
He
really,
in fact had teleport, so he gets into a brush, teleports away, like that could have been a thing.
really.
Ist relativ standard, die gehen Dirk into Cleaver oder Shojin.
Delight does
In diesem
set
Matchup.
that up initially,
Meistens Cleaver.
and they do end up getting the kill onto the Cassante.
Wird er wahrscheinlich Something, oder?
To the Talia.
Lieber Something, Muramana.
Significant lead here, so good for Zeka to pick that one up. Kind of keep the gold evenly spread amongst these members. Guma's big, right? Guma's got his Ludens already.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Even though he died, I think he's pretty happy.
Weil Cleaver Muramana Serpents.
Game
In
state
die
and how much
Richtung.
burst he's going to be able to offer in these upcoming fights.
It is an interesting composition though here for HLE, so they need to make sure that that initial burst is onto as many people as possible.
Wen draften wir lieber? Ich glaube, dass der HLE-Draft sehr OP ist gegen den von KT, oder nicht?
Feels a whole lot better, with the amount of
Ja, sie haben ja Serapin, aber ansonsten Reach gegen Six schwierig. Gegen Six Jace. Plus,
if they get on top of them.
die haben hartes One-Shot-Potenzial.
They do the kill the bad guys fast, win the game. That's what they tried to do in game one. That's what they've tried to do all season. And by the way, it's been working. They're 12-1. But let's see if they can continue to hold on to this lead right now as we are grouping around Dragon 2 minutes before it spawn. It's more of a bottom side play here. Effort does have his ultimate and flash, and to be respectful of this.
Effort looking to try and sidestep some bombs. Doesn't quite work as Kanavi is
Guter Horror von Zeka.
right as it does get placed down.
BDD going to push a huge wave here that Zeka will have to respond to. Arrow.
Arrow is going to get flashed this time around as the Q is going to connect. The Encore is going to land onto Guma. There's the beat drop as well. A lot of damage, but he's not dead. And Effort
Das war ziemlich gut von Kass.
There's the Q connecting from Cuz as BDD's made his way in.
Das war ziemlich gut von Kass.
On over, but they do make it
Aber auch nicht mit deinem Code gekauft.
turret. A 1-for-1 though is not the end of the world for HLE, even if it is Gumayushi that does go down.
Guma
Ja, die Serapin und jedes war auch voll auf dem Rand.
dying there, and I think it's pretty okay for them. Obviously, the Cull is going to cash out here in 12 stacks, 12 more minions here for aiming, and that lead will shrink back down a little bit, but
Haben Fauxpas-Link benutzt. Ja, ich habe angefragt, ob ich...
BDD did not have his realm warp.
Ich habe jetzt mal mein Management gefragt, dass sie mir auch einen irgendwie organisieren sollen.
Could have been a lot better. Speaking of coming earlier, Zeka's here right now.
Yeah,
Da kann also ganz viel Liebe. Mach beim Giveaway teil.
very, very dead.
Einmal hinter nochmal, wie gesagt, CTA.
To make sure that they were able to lock him down. So the Cassante not having the greatest of times, and PDD might be in for it as well, as there's the ult to close the gap. Bone Skewer's going to miss.
Haben die Damage?
Decent assist onto BDD. Minefield goes down. Mega
Haben sie, right?
Not quite enough, and there is the
Solid.
punch from Kanavi to lock down the kill. Delight looking a little worse for wear. The beat drop does get a slow, but Effort's not killing anyone right now.
It's a lot of gold with the Pike passive as well coming in across this game, and that's a lot of money. Zeus is going to be able to pick up first brick as well, and this lead is exploding here for Honda Life Esports right now.
Guck mal.
There's a beat drop.
Hat er weh?
Gumayushi
Er hat
wants
weh.
to be able to satchel himself over the wall.
Flash darüber? Oh mein Gott, du Freak. Aber das ist halt nicht worth it, right?
Really don't
Also,
know whether
ich glaube, er checkt halt die Implikation nicht.
I feel like in this situation with the money he just got, the lead has shrunk a little bit. I think you're happy to get as much money on your main source of damage as...
Also, ich glaube, er checkt nicht, was jetzt die nächsten 4 Minuten mit seinem Arsch passiert.
And at that point, after how much he had opted in, flashing for it, I think was pretty necessary. That's kind of my take. I think initially you could have just been like, all right, well, you know, he's walking away. We don't have to do this. But I think for what the end result was, because he was successful picking up the kill, I think he'll probably call Worth on that. As we do have the Dragon here. By the way, could
Ulti auf Kanavi.
be like a Hextech Soul, which would be busted for this comp with the Ziggs here for HLE.
In goes Cuz, and
Was? Die haben beide müssen. Nein. Die haben beide Champions gesmited. Nein. Das kann nicht sein.
Single target pick potential. They have a pike, but getting away from them becomes so frustrating. Now, the same thing is true, of course.
Ich kann nicht mehr.
KT get this comp with the Ashe and the Rise. You know, the fights get really difficult for HLE. The slows are very annoying, but I think it's just always going to favor the comp that has a Ziggs that can just lob Qs into a team fight and chain that damage and slow across. As BDD picks up his rod here, game is still very playable for KT because of their composition.
Wirklich?
Life Esports really have such a firm hold over the map right
Finde ich gar, also ich finde, der Comp-Punkt stimmt nicht. Ich finde, die Comp ist so schwierig jetzt, oder nicht?
And like we saw the cross maps happen both times where Perfect dies twice.
Das heißt, nach dem Jahr kommt dann Carrier, nach dem nächsten Jahr Ona zur HLE. Boah, ich glaube, die Verträge, die gehen, also die neu unterschriebenen Verträge, die gehen eine Weile noch. Ich weiß nicht, ob Hanma pisst Geld, aber ich weiß nicht, ob die so viel Geld pissen.
Yeah, and also I feel like when Guma dies, he takes all of the minions with him, right? So he's never really punished that much as far as, you know, waves being denied or anything like that. The Ziggs always seems to be farming. As Aiming going to be doing a lot of this, and that is picking up waves underneath turrets. Thankfully, you know, his damage numbers are getting high enough to be able to clear these out pretty quickly. As Kanavi makes his way out of the Herald pit, looks for an angle towards Cuz, just gets one little punch as the Bone Skewer just barely not long enough to connect onto Effort.
All right, we slow down a little bit here. Herald has spawned. See if HLE can set up either a Weaver's Wall play here to deny entry for KT, or just a single pick that blows it open.
Cuz does have to safeguard away, but we'll be able to use it in order to be all right. There's the Encore, as the arrow goes wide as well.
Das ist sehr unplayable, oder nicht? No joke. Ja, Wolfspunkt mit der Comp habe ich nicht so ganz verstanden. Hugo, danke für den 14.
Yeah, that fight initially looked like it was going to be real rough for HLE had they committed the way they did, but they were able to turn it around really nicely. As Zeka walls in and flashes out. The arrow missing was a huge factor in that fight as well, as Guma's going to get realm warped on.
Let's flash on.
A lot of space though.
Yeah, let's see whether the rune
Wow.
through, and the answer is no.
Okay.
Wanders far enough away.
Ich check Linien, kommen nicht was, sind sauber offen, right? Problem ist nur, ich glaube, es sind sauber, fixt da auch nichts in der Comp, to be honest. Ich glaube, da wurde einfach eine sehr gute Trap ausgelegt für Ash Seraphine. Ehrlicherweise. Ja, der Plan von HLE gegen Ash Seraphine zu spielen mit eben dem Six-Pick plus dann auf 4-5 noch Yorick zu bannen mit Zion raus schon von Game 1, um dann Jace blind zu bekommen, ist schon ziemlich smart. Engage halt super limitiert und auch die Reach.
As Perfect seems to live his life on 50% HP, as Effort is just ganking Zeus. There's the flash. Perfect trying to get an all-out angle.
Was, Bruder?
Quite get there as Zeus flashes to get out.
Was, Bruder?
Kanavi now looking to try and punish this Seraphine as Delight gets the flash.
Ist krank.
Will be forcing it with that Bone Skewer. Is now Aiming playing very.
Lili, danke für den 32. Dankeschön.
Vielen Dank. Could be some bad guys on the way.
Ist Poppy Jungle tot, nachdem es Feld schon nicht mehr gibt? Das ist eine gute Frage. Rock Stormway ist 25%. Na, immerhin hast du da Mitte drauf geflasht, Aiming, wa? Oh, krass. Das Game ist so over. Perfect hat kein Flash. Warum nicht mal von den Jace? Das ist eine gute Frage. Hatten wir gestern auch die Frage. Ich kann es dir nicht sagen. Ich kann es dir nicht sagen. Was? Wow.
Makes sure that shove does not connect. So he will stay alive, however, doesn't have the flash anymore.
So Aiming initially on the bottom side scrap didn't have his ult, right? Okay, we're gonna go all the way back to this
This
play.
is a million miles away, years away.
Okay, so Zeka has to flash away, right? This ult misses, the arrow misses, and then now Kanavi has full agency, right? Cuz goes down here, and Delight wants more, gets another skewer here, and he has the reactivation of his ultimate, and that's just 2 right away. But aiming, to say that this was unsafe where he was standing, I feel like would be an understatement, but they has a lot of resources of players nearby to help him out, and they wanted to set this up. They kind of feel like they were trying to bait this into a perfect flank.
Sure.
Reaper's wall is up. Just a little bit too awkward here for KT. They're so far behind to actually make this punish play happen. I like the gusto because you're massively far behind in this game and you know it, but this was kind of a zero-sum situation there. Aiming does have his Phantom Dancer.
Mach ich das CT einfach nächste Woche?
He's 1,000 gold behind.
Oder ist es alles ausverkauft schon, oder was?
Fed members of HLE, and this Hextech Dragon, luckily for them, isn't Hextech.
Ey, das ist so absurd, ohne Spaß.
Is a symptom of the problems to come.
It's a very scary situation here, especially now with sieges being set up, and Ziggs is very happy about that, like you were saying. Still some bounty gold could be coming on through here for KT. There are certainly ways to get back into this game. The problem is they are few and far between, and HLE may just destroy their Nexus before any of it can be even, you know, conceived, let alone actually...
Aber ich habe einen kleinen Spoiler für euch. Maybe kommen nächste Woche neue Clearways. Maybe. Eventuell. Ich weiß nicht, ob mit einem Restock oder nicht, aber ja, maybe. Christoph, danke für die 180er Streak.
KT, if HLE kind of go in piecemeal, one by one, if the Lights trying to fish for a pick. And we did see that crazy comeback earlier this year against T1 where Carriot had a great pike early game, right? But then later on in the game just couldn't do much and kept dying trying to make the big plays.
Ich schaue, dass ich für nächste Woche auch so einen Vorpack-Link habe.
So many Fed members and they have so much map control that Delight can kind of do whatever he wants. Like when he goes for a Q, he gets a flash every time right now, it feels like.
Okay, so Zeus just going for a bit of a reset. 8.3 thousand gold. I just really feel like HLE...
You know what? I'm sorry.
...looked like they're this far ahead. You know what I mean? Like, because this is an absolute blowout of a gold lead, but it doesn't feel like they've done all that much. Like, Zeus has just been naturally winning. He's 50 CS in the lead. Ziggs has been making money. The Pike has been printing stacks, right?
A lot of this is... You know, the kills obviously, but
Warteschlange zum Checker hat 15 Minuten gedauert. Das ist crazy, Mann.
KT have gotten 3 plates top and then 1 apiece.
Ja, wie gesagt, für nächste Woche schaue ich, dass ich so einen Pre-Pack-Link oder Vorpack-Link schon habe.
Satchel and the passive damage.
And there's not a lot of plates left on these other inner turrets as well.
Wow. Schöner Seite von BDD. Wow. Guck mal, ich hier aber Flashen ab. Wow, das hat nicht Flash, ist gut. Warte mal. Perfekt, kein Flash.
Dives on top of Cuz to look to take him down as BDD. Not entirely sure what that situation was. As perfect.
Schau ich diesen balanceden Jason. Mr. Balanced. GG.
Not even necessary as the double kill comes down. That was meek to say the least. As he's going to look to turn this one. As he will take a bit of damage, but there goes the turret. And there's a flanking Pike to lock down the Ashe, and then inevitably the
Animals.
well.
GG.
They're done with this
Good shot.
That was... There were a lot of things weird that happened in that fight for KT. BD's timid Realm Warp, where he's like, I'm not even sure if I want to take this, and if I do, I'm not even really close to them.
Yeah.
It almost feels like he just kind of spammed it quickly because he was like trying to find an angle, and then he just kind of messed up the placement of it, and then he wasn't sure if it was even safe to go into. Didn't trust that his team was going to be able to turn the fight in time, and very messy. But that's the kind of punish I was talking about, where KT do have a comp that can really punish you if you overextend or you make mistakes, but they did not. Also, Delight, great peeling in that team fight as well, which is Pike is not necessarily known for, but look at this. Effort's ult hits 2, and Guma gets kicked back, but there's no fault because BD's trying to focus down the front line of Kanavi, and then he sets up this weird Realm Warp here, like into the Wolves. If it's actually where Zek is standing right now, I think there's actually a real angle. And then he like waits, and he's like, oh, I guess we can't really play this. Then Perfect is caught, the Light's peeling, the wall comes out, Zeus picks up another kill, and KT are, like you said, pretty done in this one. Then they're like, we can kill Zeus. He's like, I have a shield and I don't care about you.
Yeah, it's also the Black Cleaver version. He's got such a big health bar regardless. So it's a tough time. As an arrow is going to finally connect, this time onto Kanavi, who just vault breaks his way out of there. Thanks, Merc Treads. Another kickback going to come on through here as the Encore isn't exactly the greatest, but Mega Inferno Bomb nowhere near enough. And that is a cute little pick onto Zeus. Cuz now could be in trouble as the shortest little safeguard is going to get himself to relative safety, but not for long. Down he will go. Kanavi locks that kill down. And so KT, they are going to go top laner for jungle.
Yeah, I mean, KT had a great set of comebacks against D+. I don't know if this is it, but they're trying to fish with the group up. His effort is so
my goodness.
My God.
He stepped on one of those mines. He was very dead. Thankfully, flashes out of the way. As KT will be losing this inhibitor turret towards the bottom side of the map as HLE just go back to demolishing all of KT's things.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're likely to lose the inhibitor as they do have this cannon here. However, playing a little bit safe after what's happened in the last few moments.
Yeah. As 2 seconds on Cuz as well, so they will have an advantage for a little while.
Ich glaube, kommt technisch sieht.
Wenn
noch Flash ab.
On this Hextech Dragon as well.
Ja, kommt technisch sieht man, glaube ich, einfach, wo das Problem liegt, wenn die behind sind. Richtig, die kommen ja nicht drauf auf HLE.
It's out of the way of that shove.
Yeah, you always want to pick your angle
Die
carefully.
kommen nicht drauf auf HLE.
Wait a second.
And now there's
It's
going
gonna
to
be
run
inhibitor
around.
turret.
Yeah, they're going to look for the inhibitor turret here in mid. KT still have arrow here, but otherwise not a whole lot of tools anymore left to look for these picks. They need a few more seconds. Got to be getting close to IE here for aiming, but he does not have it yet.
Jesus.
Dead if they get on top of him.
Lord have mercy.
Much work. The arrow is going to come down. They walk
Zeka lebt. Oh, wow, perfekt. Warte, was ist Kanavi da? Der ist komplett
And now it's just front to back here for HLE.
Okay.
Delight will be able to shut one down. Death from below, but Perfect comes on in. They get the flash out of BDD, and now the base is just going to erupt. Looking for this inhibitor in the mid lane, then maybe the one in the bottom lane as well before they head down towards that dragon. But honestly, HLE can kind of do anything. They're 14,000 gold ahead.
Gut, fertig.
I don't think
Unplayable.
much of a game left in this one for KT. They've been doing a good job of like grouping up and doing stuff like this. I mean, this is what KT did in the series against D+, where they were able to kind of play this guerrilla warfare style and punish expectations, right? Like, they're like, oh, okay, I expect they're probably just going to hide. We're going to push these waves in, and then suddenly, you know...
Nein, das war eine gute Sequence, aber
dies,
es
right?
reicht nicht.
Zeus does get picked here, but Cuz dies as a result of this, which is still a positive trade, I think, for KT. They just don't have Aiming's IE yet. If he has IE, maybe they can actually kind of keep pushing this, trying to force this while things are on cooldown. And then, you know, I mean, the Talia
Bonk.
rocks that come in this moment are like so much damage. Look at that. My God, like Zeka is so huge in this game that Aiming is like, oh, I guess I kind of existed sort of near them, so I guess I have to go back to the fountain.
Yeah, it felt like one Hextech minefield
Alle mal auf
bomb
Grüße.
almost just killed effort, like just straight up.
Yeah, I mean, both of these minefields from both mages are, I mean, the Talia rocks don't feel like a minefield in a lot of games, but in this game, feels almost more deadly than the Ziggs is.
It is a little rough as the Weave as well does come on in. Perfect is going to get singled out as now Aiming could be in trouble. Mega Inferno Bomb somehow avoided. Don't know how he
Bis auf 30. Hamburg? Nee, ich bin nicht beim Spring-Finale. Ich werde beim Sommerfinale wahrscheinlich sein. Angenommen, es clasht nicht mit 50 anderen Ligen, aber am 30. mache ich nicht.
Two waves of Superman. They should be able to siege up this third turret with Guma pretty easily.
Yeah, Cuz forced to flash. That is a big tool now down. As Delight gets himself out of the way. And searches for a bone skewer. There's a seismic shove. I mean, they just don't have enough flashes to make sure that they're going to stay alive. Effort going to get taken out as the teleport to come on over. Get a big old shield for the Jace at least. As, all right, sees an assist on BDD. He is very, very dead. Guma grabs that kill. Is now Cuz going to follow suit. Zeka locks down that one. And it's just an HLE celebration as they look to even out this series. Aiming gets one back, but it's a triple for Gumayushi. And that is lights out for KT. I mean, if you're going to compare the two games, I'd say that HLE...
Es sind bis zu 30%. Das ist ein Staffelrabatt. GG. Ja, Unplayable Game im Draft. Es ist bis zu 30%. So, also du packst jetzt quasi ab 5 Zero-Ups, also es ist ein Staffelrabatt. Du packst dir 5 Stück rein und ab 5 bekommst du dann 30%. Vor 5 gibt es 20%, ab 5 gibt es 30%. So, ja. Hab's auch gesehen? Ja. Es gibt noch ein paar sogar. Also, actually... Ja, und ich hab bei Jackie nachgefragt. Okay, sie fragt morgen direkt nach so einem Vorpacklink für nächste Woche. Pineapple ist lecker, White Peach Sauer ist lecker. White Peach Sauer ist sehr, sehr lecker. Aber ist ein bisschen sauer, of course. Ne? Ist ja im Endeffekt auch sauer im Namen drin. Infused Gurke Zitrone liebe ich. Ich mag Honey Peach Tea sehr. Ich mag White Boost sehr. Dann Klassiker wie immer Lemon Lime Soda, Capri Orange und der Peach Ice Tea. Nee, Lemon Ice Tea. Warte mal, welcher von beiden ist besser? Lemon Ice Tea. Nee, Peach Ice Tea war besser, oder? Peach Ice Tea, Lemon Ice Tea? Ich weiß nicht, mit der habe ich schon lange nicht mehr getrunken. Die beiden sind alle Bank. Holunderblüte mag meine Mama sehr. Was ist noch bei der Aktion? Das ist ein Fizzy habe ich noch nicht probiert, die neuen. Peach. Okay, Peach war's. Dann bei den Soßen bin ich großer Freund. Oh mein Gott, die ist auch ausverkauft. Nein, die hier, ich wollte euch sagen, die ist so lecker. Barbecue ist lecker. Honey Mustard ist lecker, die haben wir probiert. Und Teriyaki ist auch lecker. Ja. Und ja, für nächste Woche, wie gesagt, ich frage nach so einem Vorpack-Link auch. Grrr. Und dann bei Chunky, es hat noch 2% Donauwelle, ist alles andere ausverkauft. Unplayable. Pure Honey ist aber sehr lecker. Pure Honey finde ich super, persönlich. Ja, und bei den Chips ist Tzatziki noch available. Ja, Tzatziki ist insane. Bei denen hier. Und die Flips sind auch insane. Ja, nur ein Kaffee-Lover. Ja, bestimmt wird er bald restockt, oder? Bestimmt. Aha. Ja, that's it. Oh, es gibt 20% auf die auch noch. Okay. Ja, es gibt 20% auf... Ah, okay, chillig. Okay, cool. Es gibt 20% auf alles außer Proteinpulver. Und dann bis zu 30% auf Fizzy und Syrups mit Staffelrabatt halt. Gut. Was gibt's hier? Ja, Karamell musste mich mitjagen. Tatsächlich, mit Karamell musste mich jagen. Und auf Tiernahrung, ja, Tiernahrung gibt es bestimmt auch 20%. Wenn du fragst. Hast du die Limo probiert? Ist die gut? Okay, ich hole mir jetzt. Ich habe alle 3 neuen zugeschickt bekommen. Ich probiere alle 3. Moment.
여기까지.
Komm kurz wieder.
다음 턴에 깨자. 미신 노플. 바텀도 라인 들어가. 잡았다. 이거 봐봐. 야 이거 미드로 크게 가자. 바이는 미드 있어. 미드 탈출할게. 미드 탈출할게. 미드 보자. 가자. 라이즈. 맞아. 좋아. 애쉬. 한대. 애쉬 노플. 애쉬 봐줘. 애쉬 끌었어. 나이스.
믿고 보는 매치 시작입니다. 위쪽에 최상위권들을 따라가려면 오늘 경기는 반드시 이겨야 된단 말이죠.
그럼요.
누가 이길지 모르겠지만 멋진 경기 기대해 보겠습니다.
가겠습니다. 두 번째 세트입니다.
한번 볼 수 있나? 연계되셨다? 장난하지? 오케이.
봐줘.
나 갈만해 나.
좋대.
나 갈만해.
바이.
나
잡고.
나이스 큰데? 벡터도 없고. 천천히 보자. 나 탑쪽 지금 싸우네. 나 탑에서 이렇게
하는데 여기. 나게 썰게 이거.
맞아. 볼게. 탑 남아갈게. 지금 남은 거. 바이. 여기 싸움 많이 좋아. 야 바이. 어때?
야 니코.
야 니코 보자.
니코 보자.
일어날게 이제. 뒤에 나와.
잡고. 애니비아도 그냥
밀려서 이렇게.
야 탑에 이재용 조심해.
잘만.
해봐. 야 나 지금 안 돼 형.
잘만 할 거.
끄대. 가는 거 어때? 잡았어. 건들지 마.
알았어.
미안해요.
게임이네.
지금 몰래 출발한 거 나랑 바이랑 둘이? 루시안 없긴 해가지고 루시안 집 한번 쳐볼게. 형 대놓고 칠게 이거.
세다가 보였고.
사이언은 텔 탈 거야 5초에.
오케이 이거 5대5야.
난 걸어가. 얘네 스펠 다 없어. 바이니코 애니비아.
바이니코 애니비아 너플.
진짜 데려가 마크 해줄 수 있나?
밀려.
마크 안 돼.
밀려 노무야. 너플. 잘만 마크죠?
바이 노플이야.
바이부터 오케이.
바이 볼게 바이.
바이부터 얘들아 바이. 천천히.
나왔어 천천히. 앞라인부터. 여기 니코 있다 왼쪽에.
좋아.
애매한데. 야 전력 못 먹게 하자.
난 볼만하잖아.
야 살짝 한번 나가봐야 되나?
잘만 노플이겠네.
비틀로 노플이야. 비틀 좀 봐도 돼.
민영 노플이야. 감자 치운다.
봐도 돼. 야 가는 중.
야 봐줘야 돼.
야 괜찮은데? 전력 깔았거든. 천천히 와줄래?
오케이. 싸움 갈게.
우리 아래 보는 중.
공 5초. 잘만.
앉아.
나 미치는 좀.
볼게. 보자.
아무 타. 루시안.
밀로 공었어. 이거 볼만한데? 나 살짝 가자 또 근데.
나좀 별로. 괜찮아. 앞에서 맞아.
비틀 노플. 비틀 나 이미. 좀 애매하긴 한데.
So.
천천히 봐. 나 죽었다. 와볼래.
Also ich habe alle 3. Moment, ich hol mal. Zuerst ein Mango.
나 완기하긴 했다 이거.
괜찮아. 근데 뭐 아직 불리한 거 아니긴 해.
나 이거 한번 뒤로 돌아 있어 볼게.
오케이.
볼수 있는데. 루시안. 맞아.
Perfekt, okay.
야 좋은 거 같은데? 아래 사이언.
야 좋아.
Ja, schmeckt okay.
많이 가 돼. 비틀로 노플이야. 빨면서 해야 돼. 빨면서
Finde ich jetzt zum Beispiel, also da finde ich zum Beispiel Mango Lime Syrup einfach 2-mal besser. Right.
괜찮아. 천천히.
Als direkten Vergleich. Dann Candy Cola. Heißt es, glaube ich, ja. Candy Cola. Also alle kalt, ja. Candy Cola. Ist auch okay.
이거 윗게 싸움 난다. 30초. 나 이거 한번 뒤로.
Und dann Mojito.
오케이. 윗게 나올 때. 나 이거 펼친데. 나 이거 펼친데. 와줘. 잡았다. 오케이. 천천히. 밑으로.
픽트로 쏘냐야. 빼야 돼.
Das mag ich nicht.
여기까지 맞아.
Die beiden sind okay, aber ich glaube, da sind die Syrups besser. Aimo, ich würd mir immer lieber Syrups kaufen. Statt die Fizzies.
너 벨트? 바로 가야 된다.
Finde die jetzt nicht
타 밀어놓고 미드 바탕 가자.
super.
장로에서 싸움 해야 될 것 같은데. 나가서 그냥 잘 싸야겠다. 미리 나가보자.
Persönlicher Take.
이런 거 그냥 장로에서 해야 돼. 싸움 받을래?
빼야 돼. 나좀 많이 멀어.
Also direkt, du hast halt bei Syrups, du hast den direkten Vergleich. Du hast den direkten Vergleich bei Ding halt Mango Lime schmeckt immer besser als das. Dann hier Mojito, keine Ahnung.
상대한테 있어 얘기하면.
Mag ich auch überhaupt nicht. Und dann Candy Cola.
루시안.
Ja, nee. Also kauft euch lieber Syrups. Kauft euch Syrups, seid ihr besser dran. Oder habt auch mehr von.
수원아. 아 잠깐. 이거 잡아주면 나 이러신데. 나 이게 돼. 나 유치원 시작하거든. 잡아야 진짜로?
Tja.
빨리 잡아야 되는데. 라인 갈게요. 미안.
민재 가자. 너 근데 그거
한 1호씩 더해야 6천인데?
근데 그거 세고 있었어? 뭐야 진짜 근데?
결국 우리가 아는 또 T1이에요. 이제 곧 국제선이야. 우리가 강해질 시간이고.
15 Euro Programm, ja, potenziell bei 16, ne? Je nachdem, wie LPL läuft. Je nachdem, ob JG 2-0 drüber fährt. Free in time. Around the stars. Dim. Ich hoffe, sie sagen, dass der Draft dann playable war, weil das ist nämlich die Realität.
Hello everyone, welcome back
Hat der Huni hier.
Space. After some great support play, Hanwha Life Esports back on in it. Huni is joining me here because speaking of great support play, joining us in the space, who we got? The pride of Sejongshi, KT Challengers, Misa Esports, and now Team Heretics. It's Wei.
Oh, what?
Hello.
Hello guys,
Cool.
Heretic supporter. My name is Wei.
Yeah!
Cool.
Let's go, Wei! Let's go! LEC player on the desk. LEC, let's go! Too much LEC around me right now. Welcome, Wei. Great to see you. Back again after spending time with KT. Are you ready to break down the replay here?
Yeah?
All right.
course.
Woo-hoo!
He's so
I'm
ready.
confident. All right, let's do it. Let's take a look at what happened.
Ja, braucht ein bisschen mehr Engage, ein bisschen mehr Reach.
42 or early on here, probably about 6 minutes into it, the bot lane gets caught out here.
So yeah, this is basically Ashe Seraphine versus Ziggs Pyke. And that was insane Gumayushi's Ziggs, by the way. Even though Amy had the flash, they couldn't do anything. So what do you think about this matchup? Ashe Seraphine versus Ziggs Pyke. How do you feel?
I think for Jig Spike, I think more good because Extra pin no dash and Spike by engage so good.
So like basically like Ashe Seraphine can never dodge Pyke's engage, right?
Yeah. Extra pin one mistake, maybe game boom.
Oh, that's what happens. Yeah, you gotta play perfect.
Also, hat natürlich nicht Unrecht, ist aber nur lustig, wie er es halt formuliert, right? Ja. Ein Fehler, Game Boom.
Unpunished. That's why we've seen so much Ashe Seraphine lately. And then the second one that we pulled for you here in the mid lane, then over at the top lane at 20 minutes. Again, just more gameplay happening here for Hanwha Life.
Yeah, basically, I think this was the last chance that they have because HLE already had the insane lead from the early game. But TP flank, Xante, could be work.
Yeah, it was like that's the play by KT, but they kind of had to. They're already like down like 9,000 gold, and it's like there's no way that they can actually come back the game if this actually failed.
So yeah, I mean, I gotta ask, because we all know Seraphine is such a good scaling option, but like, I think this game, HLE, they snowballed really well with the Ziggs Spike, especially the Light Spike kind of popped up. But as a support player, and now you're also a LEC player, what side do you prefer to play? Seraphine or Pike Ziggs?
You mean I'm choice?
Yeah, if you have a choice, what side do you want to play?
Actually, I don't like Seraphine.
Hallo Chris.
Well,
Why?
Seraphine also boring champion. Pike, high risk, high return.
Yeah.
If I play good champion, but my play bad, so bad. My finger.
You can actually play better on Pike.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he's a high-risk player.
He's got to use his hands. That's what he's saying.
He loves the spotlight. The Seraphine, if you play good, if you play Pike well, woohoo!
We want to know, what is the big difference between your experience here?
Ich bin mir bestellen nächste Woche bestimmt mit Vorparklink von mir. Bestimmt.
I think LCK play game tempo so fast.
So fast.
Because sorry.
야, 한국어 할 거.
LCK는 이제 아카데미 때부터 빠르게 굴리는 법을 이제 배워와가지고 그게 더 특화돼 있는 것 같아요.
So like I think all the LCK players, they know, like they learn how to snowball fast from the academy team. So that's why it feels like LCK is so much faster about the tempo.
Oh yeah, of course. You've played with Perfect, right? You played with Perfect back in the Sejong team, as well as in Challengers. Do you have any words for Perfect as he tries to win game number 3?
Perfect. Okay. Happy birthday, Perfect.
Wow!
And you so noob.
Oh my god! Wow! He's so LEC now!
My baby, Perfect.
It's a spicy.
Again, they played together for such a long time, both the Challengers and before that for Team Sejong. You can see the brotherhood here, and obviously with a little bit of flame why he's over at the LEC. Thank you so much for joining us here, Wei. Let's send it on over for the conclusion of Hanwha Life Esports and KT game number 3.
So good, Wei.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and especially to Wei there, as I do like that as soon as you go to the LEC, you just come back and you just root
Bit of a
all the
flamer,
time.
little bit of a flamer.
Maybe it wasn't Wadid's fault. Maybe it was all the LEC that
I
made
think
him into the person he is today. We
the
shouldn't
team-
blame him.
The team heretics maybe kind of suits what he was saying about Perfect there, and
Wenn schon so decent Englisch spricht, es war jetzt nicht decent, das war
I
okay.
totally get it about not wanting to play Ashe Seraphine and wanting to play the Pike, and Delight, I think, embodied everything he was saying there, right? Delight had so many flashy plays, was incredibly impactful all around the map. Everyone's gonna be singing his praises, and even if you win as the Seraphine sometimes,
So, Hom, wie machen wir's?
even if you have a great play like Career had
Wie machen wir's, Hom?
the other day on D+, like that's the kind of play you have to have, I think, as Seraphine to get the kind of credit that you do when you have the Pike games. This draft is going to be so important. Both games draft have been very similar in that HLE a little bit more all-in, aggressive, tempo-based, KT a little bit more late-game focused. Game 2, they got broken open like an egg in the early game, and this could not be put back together. See if Game 3
Levin.
continues that same theme as
Welche Mittel hatten wir in Game 1? Casio versus
First pick in a game 3
Azir.
is kind of curious.
Ja, der Schlaf war solid.
First time that
Was
they
soll
do
das?
have first pick, as HLE did manage to get it the first 2 games, as they had right of first selection in the first one and then lost, so had it in the second one as well. But we often see priority move over to second pick, but also HLE chose red side, so it's all just a little bit weird moving into this one. The Caitlyn, the Varus is going to be taken away. The Caitlyn is the newest addition to the ban list, as Gnar as well. That's an odd ban.
That's weird. It makes me feel like Perfect wants to play Renekton, even though Renekton has done decently in Gnar recently.
Yeah.
It was a classical counter pick, but the main Gnar picks that you want to crush are the Cassante, which is fearlessly banned, and the Scion, which is also fearlessly banned. So a little surprised by that, to say the least.
Yeah. So one last ban.
As his first pick.
For HLE.
Oh, Ezreal is offen.
Going to continue to be taken away.
Ezreal?
Ezreal is being banned in the first couple of games, but instead of that, it is going to be the Lucian locked in.
Das heißt Ezreal Bard oder was?
Emilio, Yunara Lulu.
Oh.
Who would have guessed it?
Although,
wait, you can just play, you just like pick, like, or you pick away the Emilio if you like.
Aphelios Milio.
Keria did, right? And they played the Emilio Aphelios. Now,
Ja.
great Aphelios player.
Sehe ich auch.
Who played it last time around. They could go for that setup here. But denying this one still means the Nami will go over.
Yep.
See what they want to play with this. I also am a big fan of Emilio Jinx. And I think
Das heißt, sie gehen jetzt halt Hyper Carry, ne? Also wie wohl gesagt, Jinx oder Aphelios.
pick as well, even though
Oh, yeah.
we haven't really seen that pick in the meta for quite some time. Zeka going to prioritize the Aurora with all these mid-champions banned away, and his proficiency on this, I think this makes a ton of sense regardless of what this draft is going to look like.
Yeah, I think it does give now BDD an opportunity to answer
Heißt, sie gehen Lucian Nami.
and hold their cards to their chest. But it will mean that Xin Zhao is going to once again just be something
Nicht gewandt, ja.
not really considered in this draft, as Renekton is instead going to be the lock-in, and obviously the Nami
Lucian Nami kann Aphelios Milio nicht hyperstompen.
feels like it's pretty pickable at this point in time.
Wonder what
Ich sehe Aphelios, ich sehe Jinx, ich sehe...
to this Renekton. I mean, it
war's
is
schon fast, ne?
possible to play the Aurora top into the Renekton and then pull a page out of Showmaker.
Okay, Nami hier gezockt, ja, aber Nautilus ist banned.
Be a big fan of it.
Leona ist schlecht gegen Milio.
Love it.
Oh,
Real ist schlecht gegen Milio.
Draven.
Wow, Draven.
Okay, Guma.
Das ist eine harte Fister-Lane, okay.
Draven has
Love it.
been played, I don't think.
yeah, I think that
Das ist sehr gut.
there was a little bit.
Das ist sehr gut.
Makes it look like he hasn't won any.
I mean, he hasn't won any.
Yeah,
Also hasn't lost any, but
I think-
definitely hasn't won
yeah.
any.
I think
either.
it should have just said win percent dash.
Yeah, NA.
NA.
But maybe we'd be confused with like the win percentages North America.
Yeah,
That seems
0%. That's rude, Atlas. Why'd
Yeah.
you do that to him?
Well, I mean, I didn't. That's probably why it wasn't not applicable that was put there, just so that people don't get confused.
All right, so Zoe's going to be taken away from BDD, which is a pretty smart choice, I think, given this draft already. Double bubbles sounds pretty annoying to deal with,
Yep.
especially if your Draven dies, you lose the game a lot of the time. So that's a pretty good thing
Shen.
to prevent.
All right, so now we're going real deep into the Renekton answers. Shen actually a pretty good matchup.
Oh Gott, keine Quinn, keine Quinn.
Pretty well.
But it also empowers the Draven to be a hyper carry later on
Very
as
good
well.
Weiß ich zufälligerweise, ob Mobo sich auf den Blutzucker auswirken kann. Meine Mama mich irgendwie gefragt, wie sie Bierte gegangen ist.
Your Victor also feels like a good choice here for BDD. It's a very
Ich weiß es nicht.
very sturdy, right? And it is a lot of
Ich weiß nicht, wie ist es mit Süßstoff? Ich habe keine Ahnung. Ich hab keine Ahnung.
Looking for those picks. Akali.
Ich hab keine Ahnung. Aber du kannst ja bestimmt einfach mit Süßstoff Blutzucker googeln. Ich habe keinen Schimmer. Ich könnte es dir nicht sagen. Ich will es auch gar nichts Falsches sagen. So, mal danke für den zweiten.
Jungle has just been
Vielen Dank.
completely ignored so far in both the picks and the bans. Maybe we'll see a Xin Zhao ban against Kanavi. I feel like I'm like weirdly obsessed with Xin, but
No,
there
I
it
think-
is. Finally, someone notices the champion exists.
I was kind of feeling the same as you. Like, you should ban Xin here, but I thought they just weren't going to based on what we've seen so far. Skarner feels so good here. I like it.
Also, dein Wissenschaftler gut. Ja.
Sets you up for
Ist ja explizit kein Zucker, ja genau. Aber ich weiß nicht, ob das. Also, na, wie gesagt, also wäre jetzt auch meine Vermutung, aber ich weiß es nicht, right? Und deswegen, ich will lieber nicht sagen, statt was Falsches zu sagen.
And maybe that's what they're going to look at, is instead could be a different quadruped. This is going to be the highest priority pick that is still left up and available as the Nocturne.
Nocturne Pick ist gegen die Wookie.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
I'm wondering now what the answer is going to be for BDD. I think something
Twisted
defensive.
Fate into Nocturne.
I don't know about that.
Doesn't feel great.
I think they need something. I think they need damage. They need to change this draft into a little bit more of a well-rounded one instead of just a Lucian Renekton burst. Cuz looks a little bit puzzled almost at what he's about to lock in.
Ivan Tristana.
The
Instead,
Victor
going
is-
for that Victor angle.
I think this is correct, even though it doesn't feel great. Like, it's kind of hard to fight your way out of this draft now. As they'll take
Oh, no.
Skarner themselves.
Okay, braucht die DPS-Mitte.
That does mean now BDD needs to do big damage.
I think he's going to play Victor.
Ah, Timo. Well, we need Nasus to be Harvard. Bit of Susan getting
Victor, oder?
But effort so far just going to go back to the Anivia.
Mel is way too greedy in this draft. And this...
Oha, und so mal Dankeschön für den Change of... Danke für den Change of Tier 1. The fuck? Vielen Dank.
High power of this
Ganz viel Liebe.
I think the Victor is the only champ that can both do high damage
Ja.
and also have a build that
Last Pick Top Lane. Bekommen wir eine kleine Queenie?
is real. He has not won yet.
Oder wie tief in die Trenches gehen wir? Gehen wir Cannon?
Has been in.
Cannon ist decent hier. Cannon ist sehr decent hier, vor allem mit Nocturne. Oder sie Last Pick Mitte und picken Aurora Top Lane. Auch fein. Beides geht. Oh. Gehst von T1 am März von Prime? Ja.
Well, because it's both frontline for the Draven, but also more pick and spell.
That is a different thought.
That's a completely different champion.
Ist das ein gutes Olaf-Game?
Here, but it allows you to get through all of the CC and access the carries. And when the
Was ist eure Meinung? Ist es ein gutes Olaf-Game?
There are so many threats to both.
Ich glaube, Botlane ist so rough.
Even though the Victor is going to be relatively tanky, I don't know if it'll matter because there's just so much.
Wie er sich drauf aus, hab gerade auch gesehen, dass er auf dem Auto ist. Ja, ich sag gerne, ne? Du sagst gerne, wenn du es nachgelesen hast.
Get in there.
Yeah, and it feels now like there's two Dravens in this game, right? Like Olaf requires Snowball to work. Draven Snowball, the champion. And, you know, Aurora is from Freljord, which there's a lot of snowballs over there. Like, it makes a lot of sense that HLE just double down on this strategy that they were already representing.
Ja, also von den Physics bin ich echt nicht überzeugt. Also kauft euch, da wartet da lieber auf Mango Lime im nächsten Restock und holt euch das statt die Mango Fizzy. IMO. Habt ihr mehr von.
Because KT as well, I mean, they scale pretty effectively, even though they've got the Renekton.
I think that we have a little bit of a different draft here. Like, Game 3's draft is not as much KT just outscale, and that's the end of it, because they have some really strong tools in the early game as well with the Skarner and the Lucian. But their comp does scale better because of the Victor. I think this bottom lane 3v3, as it often is going to be the most important. If they can shut the Draven out early, then I don't think Hanwha Life Esports have a prayer, but I don't know if it's going to be that simple.
And also, Hanwha have all the momentum. Let's get on the Rift here for game number 3.
HLE fighting!
All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, onto the Rift for the final game of this series, and possibly the third of 6 of the day. Obviously, it's Bro versus Cume DRX coming up, and it's likely that the Bros are just probably going to be better, but I hold out hope, because Cume DRX have been going the distance against a lot of teams, namely HLE, as well as KT. They just tend to take games, so maybe, and the Bros are generous. We could get 6 games. It could be the day.
Could happen. I'm not trying to jinx it. I think you are, but I'm here to.
Ich glaube, die Bros knallen die 2-0, aber ja.
And it's also.
But Bromentum is too strong.
It's also a Pog State day, so it means that the content is going to be way better.
Botlane ist hard winning für HLE.
There for a 6-game Pog State day.
Oh yeah. Well, Kanavi going to be taking his Raptors and then immediately looking to see what Cuz is getting up to, as he does already have vision down. That is going to be the blue buff secured.
BDD to do things here.
And Cuz just going to vacate. Just gets himself.
Starkes Level 1 von Nocturne natürlich, oder Level 2, wie auch immer. Gegen den spielen die Bros gegen KRX. Ein sogenannter Free Win.
Pressure in the jungle, and yes, Cuz is just not going to interact with him. Will just be, I don't want to say happy to lose some of his jungle, but prefers that to actually colliding with an early game Nocturne on Skarner.
Nimmt einen Camp verteidigt bei der Botzeit, läuft er durch Mitte? Ne, er zeigt sich nicht, okay.
Both barriers down. Aiming has the health advantage here, but Delight has the other
Vielleicht der Spot. Das heißt, sie müssen jetzt auf Bot, denn die brauchen alle 3 Minions für... Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott. Der Light hat aber Q, oder nicht? Hat der Light Q? Der Light hat kein Q. Das ist ja mal gar nicht gut. Horrible. 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 Yes, Maria.
I mean, I said it's not as simple as just getting ahead and shutting the Draven out early, but perhaps if...
Das ist sehr gut für KT, aber yes, Maria. Da Doppelkits werden ist natürlich ein fucking Bummer.
You can make an aggressive play like this, and I just don't think Guma and Delight expected it, because they're like, okay, well, he's losing some of his jungle. What decision is he going to make? Is he going to try...
Weiß ich, warum die... Also, du weißt ja, wo er ist in etwa, right?
The level 2 Skarner is the deadliest.
He comes at here. They just do not expect this. They think he's on red buff right now, and when he shows up, they're like, oh my god, I guess we're in big trouble now. This is a great call from Guma. Unfortunately for him, it does not work out. I think it was absolutely the right play.
Kanavi schuld.
Definitely
Jungler!
And unfortunately now he is, because he didn't get the kill, also flashless. Aiming.
Oh
keeps his
God!
flash.
And it's a
Ja, der ist über den Water rübergegangen. Also, du musst eigentlich wissen, dass er da around ist.
I'm gonna say that's quite an effective use of Boris. Well,
0-7.
now Zach
Oder
takes
was?
some damage here from BDD as Kanavi.
Jesus.
Driving on by. Electrocute seemingly did nothing as BDD had the shield from the Q as Cuz should be able to grab this crab. Knows that Kanavi is in the area, but just gonna follow the crab up and that will be taken down. So Cuz is behind a little bit here in the jungle, but not even that much. And KT, about 1,000 gold in the lead. You can see that that was just great decision-making from Cuz to get into that bottom lane, make sure
BF Sword fertig.
and he doesn't even lose too much as far as the jungle.
Leider hat Draven inbound BF Sword auf seinem Q.
Now, and it's more dangerous for Cuz to go in and contest. And so that lead for the Nocturne should expand as it takes the Krugs and the Raptors.
Absolutely. But, you know, down here, the solution can continue to apply the pressure in the 2v2. The barrier's back up. Flash available here for aiming. Guma needs to be very careful about getting hit by anything. Like, even damage like this can actually be the difference maker as it gets caught by a bubble.
Yeah, great bubble does come on in there as the barrier
So viel
does
Damage.
have to be used.
Er hat sein Auto gecancelt. Er hat sein Auto gecancelt. Igitt.
Piercing light, too much damage.
Igitt.
No one to support. As the Tidecold's blessing is going to slow him down. Good sidestep, but aiming will be able to find the kill, and it's another double, this time just in the 2v2, and even just aiming is 1,000 gold ahead.
Ha.
Aiming is popping off in this one, but the barrier was used early.
So, und wie schattest du die Person down?
Aiming knows because he has the flash advantage. He can just flash in there, and there's just not enough damage to stop him with that barrier there.
Ich glaube, das Spiel heute ist nicht, by the way. Das Spiel, das ist nicht.
He just calculates it really well,
mal.
and now he's 3 kills.
Ich frag mal,
Last one going over there.
nee, aber ich meine, das ist.
And this is a pick that Guma is known for, by the way. Like, this is a pick that was his debut champion in 2020's Worlds Qualifiers, right? Where he first made his opening debut on such a crazy pick. His perfect
Ja, ist Kappa.
advantage.
Ist, ich weiß nicht, warum es da zeigt, aber auf bei uns zeigt es 24.05. und es steht noch nicht fest, das ist der Termin. Die Seite Pisse, ja. Also wenn du hier schaust bei uns, steht 24.05. Aber das steht auch noch nicht fest. Wie gesagt, der Termin steht noch nicht.
Make sure that rock doesn't do too much. Now Cuz going to slink back towards his jungle and look for a few levels. Level 6 Ragnarok now gained here for Zeus. As Humble Life Esports down here on this bottom side. Obviously, the Draven can swing back, right? If you can stack up some of that adoration and get a cash in.
Bubble.
It's tough, but yeah, great bubble.
And there's no flash for the Draven, right? So aiming just gets in there
200 Gold noch bekommen für den Kill, by the way.
on the Milio.
Kinderverarsche.
And he ends up having the Q to come through, flashes forward, and that is that. We have a fight for the Dragon.
Yeah, that is going to be Kanavi locking that down. Cuz got into the back of the pit, but does have to flash now to get himself out. So KT not able to get themselves the smart.
Weiß dein Streamer es nicht oder weißt du es nicht?
Margin here, but HLE
Und dann will ich deinen Streamer tatsächlich mal beleidigen in meinem Notchat.
once again going aggressive.
Aber fairerweise ist es noch eine Shitshow mit Termin. Hat dein Streamer auf dem Schirm, dass der morgen um 18 Uhr ein Quiz hat? Das ist viel wichtiger. Safe. Hat der morgen das NNO-Quiz auf dem Schirm? Ich frag mal, ja. Morgen 18 Uhr ist NNO-Quiz außerdem. Von Tolly gehostet. So das LVM-Quiz. Brainlag. Wird cool. Morgen sogar 2 Quizzes. Aber ich glaube, beim ersten ist Kani nicht dabei, da ist Bröki dabei. Ja. Von Zilbo wieder. Morgen früh um 11 Uhr. Das weiß er? Super. Ah, gut. Passt ja alles.
Then you're truly lost. But there is still like an angle here, 5 to 10 minutes away from now, where Guma could get that late cash in and things could turn around.
And also play through some
Was Kirschbanane? Das ist eine gute Frage.
Where, like, aiming can do nothing if the Viking decides to run at him. That could be an angle that they go for as well. Whirling Death now picked up here for Gumayushi. Has that one as he looks to try and stack that adoration, get that execute damage built up. But right now, HLE still with the shove.
Tidal Wave is
with the damage.
Ist crazy, dass die immer noch ein paar Mal pushen, oder nicht?
Here as well, if they push up too far and have to flash.
Ich glaube, die schon gleich für All-In, oder? Effort.
They gotta be so careful. The Light's ult is coming online fairly soon, but he doesn't have it for a bubble either.
I guess kein Tempt hier. Die gankt Botlane. Und dann 2v2. Ist halt disgusting, dass der Light ist halt Level... Oh wow, es ist so fucked. Es ist so fucked, weil der Light nicht Level 6 ist, sonst hätte Gumayushi nicht flashen müssen.
Perfect here on the top side as well. Continue to control this matchup with no jungle attention. BDD generated so much prio in mid. Zeka had to back, and he was able to roam down and set up that gravity field. The early part of that fight looked pretty abysmal for aiming and effort. Almost felt like they were trying to bait because Skarner was coming down with the
TP behind. Oh weia. Oh weia, es ist fucking fucked. Oh mein Gott, es ist ein Pre 10 Minuten TP auch noch. Was? 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 Was hat Kassa gerade gemacht? Krass, du bist so reported. Oh mein Gott. Oh mein Gott, krass, du bist so reported. Oh heilige Mutter Marias. Krass, du bist so reported. Oh Gott, das war so schlimm. Pre 10 Minuten TP.
Well, now you don't have TP. Now BD's just going to push in mid. BD did just push in mid during that time as he had already teleported back to the lane into picking up a plate as well. But like you said, the kill and the shutdown is.
Der kann doch nicht basen. Was macht er? Digga, was macht er?
Gonna have to start off that back again. Let's see whether Effort can actually land the bubble here. No flash available for Gumayushi, and he just gets bubbled. Oh no, thought that he was right on the edge, so he is extraordinarily dead. That barrier was a yeah, that was a hope and a prayer, and unfortunately it went unanswered.
Der fixt.
As Cuz just gonna come on over and look for a
Der fixt.
Yeah, I mean they're just gonna constantly be pushing this bottom wave in. Aiming's gonna pick up plates. They can come join this scrap in the jungle if Kanavi wants to fight for it. Kanavi's on the other side of the map right now anyways. We'll have his paranoia back up in 4 seconds. Maybe they can try to make something happen mid, but this bottom lane is just not salvageable anymore. I think Guma is out of this game as Stravencomp now no longer. We can even talk about that late cash in. It's just so.
Seht ihr den TP-Ward behind? Da unten? Hat Zeus Bock? Nee, okay.
Yeah, this is the problem. Like, he's died 3 times in sort of staggered fashion. Like, sometimes you can sort of feed a little bit, but then.
Ja, ja, also guck mal, das ganze Geld ist bei Aiming, right? Aber es ist halt fucking. Also, und die haben sehr viel Access auf den. Also, ich glaube, es ist nicht unplayable für Hanwha. Die haben so viel Access auf den Lucian später, aber Tabis sind gut. Tabis sind sehr gut.
Timings have been like almost the worst that they could be. I mean, like we were talking about before, you died 2 times early. It's like, okay, well, just don't die again.
Yeah.
But he did die one more time as the bubble placement was good. I think he just didn't expect the angle effort was coming from there and was a little greedy and is punished as a result. 2,000 gold behind on the iconic Draven. It's going to have to be Zeka and Zeus who bring them back into this game if they can get back into this game at all. The shutdown gold is already gone on this Lucian, right? You already got that money for Zeka. Let's see what they can do in this mid game as the second dragon has spawned and KT have their eyes on it.
Right now, just clearing out vision where they can.
Der Hexplate fertig? Ja, da. Also, weiß ich jetzt nicht. Also, ich sehe hier Double Thumbs Up bei Aiming. Wollen wir das wirklich fighten? Sind wir uns da ganz sicher? Beide Topländer haben auch TP, aber sind wir uns da ganz sicher? Die wollen fighten. Effort One-Shot. Wow. Melee-Ulti war ein bisschen zu früh. Melee-Ulti ein bisschen zu früh. Die Axes sind Auto-Attacks. Applying on hits.
Yeah, that say goodbye to Zeka's gold lead after that one. Actually still has 600.
Yeah, not quite.
600 the advantage. I thought it was going to be a lot more after the double comes through, but the lead is gone now. As look at the initial part of this fight. Looks like, okay, they got the Nami, it all works out. But BD is frantically shot calling on the player.
Ja, Ulti von der Light ein bisschen zu früh natürlich, ne? Er kann ja, also der Medio kann ja die Skarner-Ulti cleansen.
So far away from the rest of the fight. He's the target they wanted. He's the Fed member here. And he just does so much damage for free while BD is layering on top. And it is still Zeka's gold lead here, but it's the only one on the Rift as this Olaf has just been catching waves here. Zeus not making an impact in this game just yet. And if we get later and later into it and this Victor and Lucian scale up before the Olaf actually gets to team fight, then he's not going to have a good time.
Yeah, it's looking like Perfect is just in pretty good standing right now. Effort Grabs his Slay. Perfect has his Black Cleaver completed as item number 1. And Cuz is back down here once again. Does have the old protoplasm.
Melee-Ulti removed jegliche Art von CC.
And so just feeling pretty tanky on this Skarner.
Und healt dich und gibt dir Tenacity.
He's just not been able to get the tempo advantage. He did have it early, right? And he still has like the farm lead, but he's not been able to get the ultimate 100 stacks. He's not been able to run the Rift the way that this comp really needs to with Nocturne Draven. Like,
Kein Knockup. Okay, kein Knockup. Auch Suppress? Ja. Zum Beispiel die Skarner-Ulti.
Feels like such an all or nothing draft, right? And if the whoopsies start
Keine
happening,
Suppression, doch.
a level 2 Skarner gank is going to be successful. It just hurts so much more than if you were playing a different composition.
Ich weiß nicht, ob sie zum Beispiel Ignite entfernt. Wahrscheinlich schon. Ich gehe davon aus. Also das genaue Wording, Moment.
Just require you to play very aggressively. That is going to be happening.
Fighten da?
As the culling is just going to be soaked by Gumayushi. Tidal Wave connects.
Das genaue Was?
Barely gets over the wall.
Ach, Zeus ist da, deswegen.
The Skarner is still driving. That was really cute mitigation of the paranoia. But HLE are not done yet. Another fire kick does come on through. Whirling Death over the top as well as Cuz.
Die wollen den Stachel haben.
Zeka makes his way in. Does go between the worlds.
Oh mein Gott, der ist tot. Das ist nicht serious. Das ist nicht serious.
Likely to burn down and he will fall as now aiming at full health and BDD flashing in. Dash cannon value gigantic.
Holy fuck, Milio macht so viel. Alter, Milio hat es so gerettet gerade. Healing and cleansing himself and nearby allied champions of non-airborne crowd control and granting them 65% tenacity for 3 seconds. Ja. Also alles außer Knockups.
I was pretty shocked initially that they didn't TP in because, okay, we have a TP speed.
Der TP't wieder Bot. Was?
Oh dear. That is Zeka making his way down. And HLE, I do not fault them for making these plays. They need to force this game back in their direction. And Zeka might be the guy that will be able to do it, but not with a play like this, unfortunately. As the bubble just barely going to miss. Dash Cannon gets Zeka out to make sure that he's going to be all right.
Going to swap Perfect down to this bottom lane, and they'll reset Lucian into the mid lane.
Yeah, Guma's like, I want a different support. Zeka, come down here.
You could almost feel like KT were like nervous they weren't going to be able to win this fight. Look at the minimap when this all breaks out. They don't teleport BDD to the turret immediately, even though he has TP. I thought, okay, if BDD shows up on the turret here, then it's just 100% a done deal. They defend, right? And he's still pushing. Perfect is pushing, and KT are like, let's just give this turret up because there's no wave here. Let's back off the turret. And then they make the call when this engage comes through from Zeus to actually turn and fight. Kanavi eats this last shot. He dies. Effort survives, and then BDD finally pulls the trigger on that TP, albeit very far away. He flashes forward, goes to the dash cannon, almost just locks them all up here, but the fight is won. Zeus gets burned down, but Perfect doesn't even show up, doesn't even need to TP.
Crazy thing is that BDD, as a result of that, is now 3-0, right? This Victor has just been wandering around the map, and it just so happens that HLE are making engages when he wants to just make some money. And that's going to mean that this victory is cruising into the later stages of the game. That shutdown is working wonders for Zeka's coffers, but it doesn't mean that this victory
Exactly. And now the Lucian has a rapid fire cannon. Speaking of,
Kanavi might be dead. By might, I mean
game's over.
Dead.
He was like peeking over the wall like.
Is this what Valdez would call Omega Dead? Wolf?
Yes, Omega Dead, or often Giga Dead.
Yeah, Giga Omega Dead, I think, happened as well.
In some parts
he'll need to sign off as to whether this does count as Giga Omega Dead.
In some parts of California, they call it Hella Dead.
Oh, do they?
Gibt es übrigens doch auch Interviews aus der LCK vor kurzem. Warum? Hast du irgendwas gelesen?
Zeka and Perfect are fighting one another. Zeus looking to make his way down. He is in. He does have Dominus. Decides not to press the button. I would have. As when he sees the undertow in the air, he's gonna have to flash, I guess.
He prefers.
Ballern gibt's das? Ja, in LOL auch, aber halt nicht für, also.
I thought he was just gonna be ulting and looking to try to hold there. As we'll see a TP
Frag nicht.
that top wave.
Reg mich nur auf.
Very aggressively. And they are calling for a push into the top lane, as you saw that ping there onto Perfect's turret, but. This lead is exploding, and it may just be that we have.
Deswegen dachte ich, in LOL hassen wir Kurschimmer.
Series where they're broken.
Ganz einfach, wir hassen Kurschimmer in League of Legends.
And it's just so hard for HLE as well, just because this composition, this is not the game state that you're ever supposed to be in if you're gonna win with this comp. It's just not really all that playable. As Kanavi goes in, looking desperately for a kill onto Effort. The Whirling Death is not going to be enough. and
Let's
they
try
just
him.
don't
Chris
really have
Nutman cooks.
damage to get these picks. I like the idea. I think this is what HLE needs to do, but unfortunately, this is just a product of what they've built, right? If you cannot get these kills, and then the composition just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really rough. I mean, this mid turret is down. They're going to chase.
Oh, goodness. Gravity Field, Arcane Storm. Gumiushi is able to walk his way out.
Herald charge.
Campfire there, but a double charge is going to be guaranteed with that aggression. And yeah, KT moved now to a 6,000 gold lead. And this is a Skana Victor comp with a 6,000 gold lead. Is Gumiushi in so much trouble?
Jesus Christ.
Oh my goodness, the burn there as well.
He's holding 200 stacks. Like, I don't think cashing those in is going to change the game state all too much. He might find himself 2 items down here in just a minute. Like, literally 2 items down, 1 to 3.
Yeah.
Completed items, but
Aiming going for the energized build as well, which we don't see all that often. Oftentimes it is Quick Blades and the Essence Reaver.
When you're winning this hard into this comp, and now you're the one who can make the decisive pushes.
Jetzt kommt der Mortal Reminder von Gumayushi, habe ich alles gesehen.
It's absolutely a call I champion. I think it's a really good build in this situation.
I feel like the burst is
Jetzt kommt.
And BD is like so tanky at this point in time with the lead that he has as well, which is...
Alle flexen.
It took a while to get, but eventually you get enough kills, despite that bounty for Zeka, as a pretty great spot. Now, if Zeka didn't even get that bounty, can you imagine what this game state this could be? As we're going to see a Nocturnal top.
Yeah.
Man muss ihm eins lassen. Also er lässt nicht nach. Jede Nocturne-Ulti. Das war ein sehr schöner Flash. Und BDD vielleicht auch noch. Oh, shit. Mr. Balanced und Mr. Super Balanced kommen. Achtung. Er ist tot an die Andres. Well, well, well.
Is aiming just barely not able to kill him with the culling. He's 3,400 gold ahead, by the way, everyone.
Yeah, no, he has kind of been, his lead has been expanding. I want to see the 8 gold lead graph.
Yeah.
We don't need
it's going to look about the same.
Zeus is going to get some bounty gold here for his team, but the rest of the map is quite literally on fire. As this red buff does not belong to Honda Life Esports, they say.
Cuz has completed 2 items, by the way, so he's so far ahead of Kanavi, who only has 1. Battle Pipes and the Protoplasm. They are very gold-efficient items and pretty cheap.
How much money
is the fish?
Right now is the question. Like, what is?
Oh, dearie me. He is going to have to dash away from Kanavi.
Das ist ein sehr guter Catch. Seine Scoreline repräsentiert es nicht, aber er versucht alles, um zu gewinnen.
Quite a few more of those for them to get back in the game, but small moments like that can be the difference maker. As Baron is up and spawned, so we'll see.
Wirklich, er versucht alles, um zu gewinnen.
Can HLE try to look for a Baron turn with this composition from the Draven?
Oh God, it's IE.
Yeah, no, I mean that's what I'm saying. Like
Jesus.
He probably has that money. That's what I was alluding to. He is 2 items ahead of Guma with an IE. So the utility Draven with Bloodthirster, not feel.
Utility Draven, I love that. He's just going to tell them to stand aside.
He's like, I can heal a little bit of your damage when I attack you. And Kanavi is like checking his ult range, and he's like, all right, let's wait for them to leave. And gets the fear here. And the fear timing works out well with Zeka showing up. Otherwise, like, maybe aiming just kills him.
I mean,
Er ist mit dem Mortal Reminder gegangen. Digga, nein.
Would have 100% killed him, I reckon. As 3 items. Gumiushi does have Mortal Reminder, so he's only an entire Infinity Edge behind.
Yeah, no, it's
And if you say it like that, it almost sounds not awful, but it is awful, everyone.
Now wait until he gets his cash in, and then...
Aiming wants to test out his new Infinity Edge as the culling is not going to quite work out.
Wow, macht er viel Damage. Wow, macht Zeka viel Damage. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't really think this is how I would play the advantage right now. Maybe just kind of put up some deeper vision in the jungle and kind of wait for the next objective, like group on Dragon, because now your Lucian isn't on the Dragon when it spawns, and now there's kind of like a weird angle where HLE could maybe try to trade Dragon for Baron and put you in an uncomfortable spot. I don't think it's going to happen, but That certainly was not what they were looking for. Zeka's just like, okay, cool, that's a good one for me.
300 Stackies. Ja, und wir wissen ja genau, der Draven executet ja auch dann ab einem bestimmten Punkt Ride. Also so schlecht ist es ja nicht.
Like, Perfect has been mostly just kind of pushing and annoying an Olaf in this game, but he is also a big threat in 5v5 fights from not only this Draven, but even the Aurora. If she's trying to go between worlds, he just drops that stun and then they burst her down.
Yeah, and I'm really scared for HLE when aiming does have, like, it looks like he's building more of Malmodius as item number 4. And if they get Ocean Soul and he gets Lifeline, like, I don't think you ever kill the.
Die haben okay Healing, right? Ah, die haben auch eine Menge HP gekauft. So. Die haben auch eine Menge HP gekauft. Die haben keine Säcke, die Geist. 8 Sekunden noch, ihr müsst wirklich chillen. Das wird doch nichts, oder? Wie soll das was werden? Wie soll das bei aller Liebe, wie soll das was werden? Cannabis ist ein Animal. Oh. Das sind 1000 Gold für einen Wikinger. Wait. Das waren gerade 1000 Gold für den Wikinger. Ha.
We'll just take this 1-for-1 and we'll be about our way.
Definitely not as ideal as it could have been for KT. And speaking of, Zeka looking for an angle here.
Kass.
Kanavi going down very low, and there's the cash in finally. Kuz goes down, and Gumayushi makes some money.
Finally gets the cash in, but will it be
700 Goldcoins Cash in. Plus nochmal, also 700 plus nochmal. Okay. So, wollt ihr mal sagen, dass Olaf Balance ist? Schauen wir mal, was der jetzt macht. Chillig. 1000 Gold für den Wikinger. So, wie viel Gold bekommt Yushi jetzt? Das müssten 1100 gewesen sein, right? 700 Cash-In plus normales Killgold, 360 oder 370 oder was? 1-1.
And they also had no vision. There's like one ward in the banana brush. That's like basically the only thing that's doing anything.
Okay, man sieht's nicht, aber es müsste so 1k Gold gewesen sein.
Baron, Elder, it's happened, but tossing away a lot of your lead for a Scuttle Crab, that's kind of a new one.
Yeah. Well, not.
Ich sehe 2 Items auf dem Olaf.
That's why you always gotta do it to him years later.
It's the theme for today, okay? And at least I didn't name any. Everyone knows it's just as bad.
Okay. 0% happy with what
Wer von Pickaxe? Ja, ich glaube, der Killer an sich hat ihm so 1000 Gold gegeben, oder nicht? Weil Kass hat keinen Shutdown. Oder halt, wenn dann ein geringes Shutdown. Also so 1-1 hätte ich jetzt gesagt, der hat der Kill gegeben.
Not NA. No, yeah. So it wasn't actually. Okay, good. Nice to know. All right, KT just going to be clearing out this mid lane. And the Baron seems to be on the minds of our players. 3 minutes until the next Drake. That will be a big one for KT, but that is a little further away. And I'm hoping that KT's setup is going to be better this time around. As Fire Kick tries to get Kuz out of the vicinity.
Zeka has TP. There's a lot of wards for him to go to as well if KT overextends.
Ja, was?
Not cleared all this vision.
So schwierig.
So Zeka is just kind of keeping his eye on.
Nee, ist nur noch 2 Mal. Da ist 2 Gold pro Stack. Das war mal 2,5, haben sie es genervt. Es sind nur noch 2. Meine ich.
Keep trying to push forward. There becomes an angle for this Aurora. He is going to back right now and look for his next item purchase, his third of the game for some more burst damage.
Gumayushi is able to get that red buff. That's what KT were trying to do.
25 2 Stack. Ja.
On in once they leave. And he's able to pick that one up. Aiming with his Hex Drinker now done. And
wie kriegt man Stacks? Wir müssen wirklich daran arbeiten. Wir müssen wirklich an den Dingern arbeiten. Minions, indem du Äxte aufhebst und dann jede... Ey, danke. Jede Axt, die du aufhebst und wenn du 6 Minions oder sowas am Stück tötest, kriegst du nochmal extra Stacks, irgendwie so. Es gibt noch ein extra Ding. Jeden 6. CS, ja, irgendwie sowas gibt es, glaube ich, auch nochmal einen Stack oder sowas.
Yeah, they do so much damage to it. Perfect is gonna try to teleport out. Successful.
Zeig mal Nash, ja.
Zeka has teleport.
Aha.
Wait. They don't have any vision.
They don't have vision. I mean, Zeus is going to come over and check. I think they know. BDD with the turn.
Der Light hat kein Flash. Oh mein Gott.
Tidal waved.
Haben wir noch einen Blow-Up?
Is what we call when you're swimming in the ocean.
Buzz is actually able to hold the Baron as well.
Oh, in goes perfect. Looks for the angle onto Gamushi. He flashes out of the way. No Mikhails for him. If he
Haben wir einen Blow-Up?
that ruthless predator, he would have been dead as the bubble connects. And that is going to be a Baron going down. KT, that was a beautiful setup this time. The Dragon, not
Solid.
great. About a B. That was an S.
Yeah, that was
on the
really
Baron
good.
take.
And they also had, like, Perfect knows he can
Is that
escape
solid?
because Aurora doesn't have CC to lock him down. So he just goes into the alcove, pieces out, and heads straight towards the Baron. KT are ready. They have the damage. They also have great turn. Aiming's culling alone just feels like a fountain laser, and it's just so much damage coming through with BDD pushing towards them as well. BDD also had arm guard, so it was
Was haben wir da für einen Item? Ist das Headpot?
collapsed on by
Wie, den Schlitten meinst du, oder was?
anything like that when he went forward there.
Was meinst du?
KT now with all of this extra siege power are looking to start to really open up the base.
Hat gerade gepoppt, muss sein. Oh,
Gonna be slammed into the wall.
Oh, Flash, du.
Get out of the
Ach, nee, Iron Pot. Ja.
Also
Tenacity Pot.
flash there as well, so no flash on either carry here for HLE.
Oh my goodness. That is a lot of crystalline overgrowth to go on down there.
It's really where I felt. Okay, I didn't know.
Bit of a donut in that mid lane.
And the bottom lane is starting to get pushed in here by
Oder ist fertig, right?
Paranoia.
Yeah, in they go. Kanavi.
Nami Ulti ist gut. Schaut auf den Wikinger.
Before it even really started, the gravity field doing
Schaut auf den Wikinger, der hat immer noch Ulti ab.
Not quite as much as Zeus trying to get into that backline, trying to threaten BDD once again. The Ragnarok does go down as he's fighting against aiming, but he just does so much damage. Kanavi gonna get flashed.
Katastrophe.
Down goes the light once again. And Perfect will just
Hallo,
usher
Philipp.
Miyushi back towards
Well.
his base. And KT, they are
Der
going
Draven ist
to
reported.
this one open. It could be a dragon angle. They
Der
can
Toplaner
go
ist
Soul Line.
reported,
They're gonna break
Freunde.
these first.
Yeah, get the inhibitor here and then head over and grab Ocean Soul. KT, a little bit messy, a little bit rough around the edges, but have total control back now of this game as their gold leads push back up to 6K. They're going to look to try to end here with the Baron still up.
Oh, God.
Dead.
He is super dead. That is.
I guess that's just it.
Rap Draven. Komplett Draven reporten.
Fountain, but he will just watch as his Nexus goes down. And there
Das war pathetic.
goes almost 30 minutes on the clock as KT.
Das war pathetic.
To a game win.
Was für eine Penalty bekommen wir in der Frischen? Boah, weiß ich nicht.
Turning around the series
Wahrscheinlich.
and